as our product is showing right here. So what we can do right now is that instead of going to crafting others, we can start building our single page which going to be grabbed through according to the product flag. And as well, as you can see in the left side, it will be the product image, in the right side the description, the weight and others, and as well as the free delivery section. As you can see, also the characteristic is right here, description, additional information, payment method and mechanism. We're going to have a proper customer review setup. Then also the other related products gonna be fetching here. Now to do that, first of all, as you can see, we are almost finishing our authentication, our rendering the products, even though on this particular management. Now there will be some more setup as well to create the coupon setup and others. Before that, what we need to do is to create this setup. When you're going to create a particular product right here, as you can see, we doesn't have any page, so we need to create the page and start to grab the product. Now for you people who still doesn't have the proper understanding about this project, you can always go to right here, because the link, it will be in the description, where you can find entire details, even the source code, which will be available right here. And our today's code going to be available in part 1, so you can go through the part 2. So the previous latest code in based on part 1, you can go back there and get everything what you are requiring. And also the video link, it will be in the description, resource link in the description, and you can always be available to grab that live link also, which will be in the description if you have any lack of understanding what we are actually building. So right now, what we need to do, as you can see, we are in the client, because based on that, we are creating that particular page. So what we're going to do, I'm going to create a directory call. Let's say it will be product. Now, there is one thing. We have, like, if you come back here, you can see we have another page called product. If you go there in the product, you will see much more related products, and then we're going to also have some relatable features like the filters and others. There is another route which all the products is, because of the educational purposes, we create multiple segment. Here is coming the proper sidebar, which gonna have our, let's say, for similar of that particular ratio, so both things can be done accordingly the way you want. So we're gonna create a single setup. From that, you can adapt if you want a multiple setup, or you can see this is okay, then perfectly fine, you can just go and combine with that. So first of all, we need to have a product page, and in the product page, I'm going to create a page.tsx rafce, which is going to be, say, our product page. Now this one I'm gonna not create for right now, which is gonna be just for to say that it would be a product page. We'll create that later. So right now, if we go in our, let's say, I'm gonna just remove that Slack, and right now you can see we have the product page. Then we're going to create another page over here, and that page gonna start with that curly braces and the Slack, then closing it. Then after, within that directory here, I'm going to create another page.tsx rafce. There should be single product page, okay, like that product page. So this will be our product page, and if we go with the p tag, this would be there. So now we have a single product page. Now we need to get and fetch the data right here. So now, first thing first, we need to grab the Slack, right? And to grabbing the Slack, as we now need to understand the server-side rendering and the client-side rendering, because every time it's gonna be create a fresh like the page for the product details. Like this is the product for, like, if I click on the banana, it's gonna create a page according to the banana. So I want to make that page as server side, so it's gonna be pre-rendered and serve pretty much faster. If I reload in the client side, it's gonna take a little bit much more rendering time, which is not good for application. And to build something like that, first of all, what I need to do right here, we need to grab the Slack, like whatever the Slack is coming according to that, particularly in the API, we need to capture it. Only then we can work with that. So what I'm going to do, as you can see right here, I'm going to go and try to bring back the parameter. So this is going to be where we can get the props, and then we can start working with that. So first I need to get the parameter like the Slack from here. So here what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get the set the param. So first of all, I'm gonna declare some interface which gonna be declaring the TypeScript parameter, which I'll call that as the props. So it would be the params, especially in the props, it will let come the params, and the params gonna be containing a promise here, not like that, should be a promise. And from the promise, it would be generating according to the slag. Of course, it will be there, and the slag should be up to as a string. Now, what I'm going to do, as you can see right now, we can simply get the slag parameter, like whatever the params we are receiving. So I'm going to receive the params. Let's say call it a params. So the params, and the params going to be coming directly from the pops, right? So as we have the pops parameter, we're going to also pass that. I don't want to, like, we can also generate the metadata accordingly to get the proper valuation of how the things can be done, so that it can always be aligned together for a perfect data structure ratio. So what I'm gonna do, so as you can see, okay, not here, I'm gonna generate first of that, let's say interface process right here. We can simply pass that metadata to combine to grab the data right here, so that it would be a very simple and sophisticated how we are capturing the data. And or not doing in that way, better I type it one by one to explaining each and everything. That would be make a much more sensible scenario here. So what are we are actually doing? We're creating an export of a synchronous function we're going to do here. So it should be a function, and the function name going to be, let's say, generate metadata. Let's say metadata. And after that, as in the parameter, we're going to simply pass that, let's say, the params it will call here, the types it will go back here. We're going to pass the promise directly here. So let's say our promise, not the props, should be, let's say, promise. And in the promise, we're going to passing to directly interface that our metadata, right? And the metadata going to coming from the next metadata. So now as we can pass directly those setup. So first of all, we need to let a certain kind of things. So we can grab the slag from here. Let's say we can simply go and capture the slag directly here. So the slag gonna be passing that products layer and others. So we can interact with it particularly. And don't get panic regarding those kind of error right here. It's a minor error because the function and void can be defined, and it will be perfectly fine. So right now we're going to have slag. Now, as you can see, this is not the single product data layer. We're still working for generating our SEO related data, because whenever we're going to having any kind of product, we should have our proper SEO to be done. So now what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to just simply grab the product structure. We can just simply grab the product as say is equal to going to be await. Remember, we have the asynchronous function that should be get product by slag. So there is the function where we can find that get product by slag, which is perfectly fine. You can see there is an unstable underscore cache, so no cache is going through, so it can be perfectly fine. And we are just passing the slag directly there, and then we are calling the product, which coming according to the product by slag. And if you go in the query, you can find, because all the query, all the data is available with you, you can find in the code which gonna be in the GitHub repository on the first build. All the code is right there. Now here we are passing the type should be is equal to product, and slag.current should be our current slag. So whatever the slag we are passing here, data gonna serve should be served according to it. And as the product coming as an array of the product from the Sanity, from the grok, we're getting the first results there, and we're getting all the details from there. We're getting the average rating for according to the review. We're getting the total review count from there, because we need to show the review. We're getting the brand name, which we're structurizing from there. We're getting the structure as category to show all the data, because those category, brand, those names are not there. Especially if you see it right here, you can see we have the brand, we have the collection name. So this is not there, so we are destructurizing it to grab it. We have the weights parameter, and also weights a particular value matcher here, our sizes here, then our colors here, which will show later on, and the value is whichever is active or not, the hex code we are getting. So we have the query, and according to the query, we're getting the product by slag, and we're passing the params in the slag. Now, if we have the product, we are passing the product, otherwise the null, and if we are happen to have any error, we're simply just grabbing the error, dumping there, and saying error fetching product by slag. Now, if we come back here, as we call the function, as just simply you're passing there, we need to provide the slag, otherwise the function will not call. Now we're gonna just simply mapping through something. If we have no product, okay, we coming to a slag and we're serving in a metadata, we have no product here, we're gonna simply return to that value. The title should be, let's say, product not found, and also description. The product you are looking for does not exist or could not found. I think does not exist is not look good. So should we are passing that the product you are looking for, let's say, could not be found. That looks perfectly aligned. Now, this is a simple contradiction. As you can see, this isn't just an if method. And here also we can simply fetch, let's say, brand data if needed. So whenever we're going to happen to have needed the brand data, we can also pass the brand is equal to, let's say, await, and we can just simply grab the brand data according to the Slack. And here also you can simply grab that. We also have the simple synchronous data layer where we can also fetch the brand data. And again, after that also we can simply pass that const, let's say, product with brand. Also we can fetch that, let's say, brand, and there we can simply pass that it should be, let's say, spreading all the product, and then simply grab the brand. So this is how we can like prefetching the data layer. And after that we're gonna simply pass the return generate, let's say, generate a product. No, not like that, not generate. I think the function name is, yeah, so we can call if return, let's say I'm gonna make the generate product metadata. So this the data will be passing that product metadata, and here we can simply pass that product with brand. I think what's the wrong here, we can simply see that the wrong here, did you mean generate metadata? Okay, we can capture that. So whenever we are passing this value here can be aligned together so that it can be, did we have the function, did we create the function? No, we doesn't have the function. So I'm going to go in that lib. Let's say I'm going to go directly because this data is related to the SEO. So did we have the lib? Yes, I'm going to go in the lib. I'm going to create a file. Okay, I'm going to create a file called, not here, in the lib. That file name should be as seo.ts. okay, this file gonna be containing our entire SEO setup for our project. So as you can see right now, as our live link is deploying or prefetching and directing from there, so I added like this for these pages. I'm gonna do that later on. You can simply go and make your own, like for whatever the pages you require that SEO related things, you can just directly go by. I'm gonna just import the category. I'm gonna also, I think I need to have separate, okay, I'm gonna keep it as any, or I can simply pass like that product should be, I think have to have the product. And then let me see if I have any more. Okay, I can simply grab the product. Okay, I think I have some more import here. Okay, anyway, this ignore that error. Now I will explain what actually we are doing so that it can be making a good sense of you. Now first of all, this file is going to be maintaining entire setup of SEO in our project layer. Okay, so first of all, if I just go simply like get it, you see error is gone. Now what is actually doing, let us view that particular instances. So now when we're calling the generate a product data function, is creating that title according to the product name. You can see also, especially the title is much more important whenever you are happen to have the proper SEO data. It's also getting the description from the product description, then the product price, image URL. So everything gonna be passing according to the SEO, the brand name, and then it's returning every single setup, which can, it can go with the open graph, it can go with the images setup, it can go with the site name, Twitter summary, alternates for the canonical URL. So it's a perfect branch how you can make a perfect SEO in particular way, especially when building in the Next.js. So here is the, like, I'm just using my base URL. So if your project happen when you deploy that, you should use your own base URL. So this is how we're gonna just interface or providing that SEO layer. We can do it in every single pages wherever we need it, but I'm just showing you one so that it can be understandable by you. So I think it can be, because my startup to build the project and show you how you can make it more structurable. And there is a lot of AI. You can search for those methods which can give you much more flexible when you're learning. Now what we need to do, as we have the part of the SEO, now is our time to get the proper data layer. As you remember, we need to call the product, so I will make it as a asynchronous function, right? So this is the asynchronous function layer, and we're gonna in asynchronous property we need to grab the like we will get the params. So the params gonna call directly here, and from the params we can simply pass that value. Our params will be calling that it should be coming as a promise here. Remember, not props but the promise. And within the promise layer we can simply pass that slag, and as you remember, we have everything those segment in the props, right? So instead of passing that, we can simply pass the props. That's it, we got the params. Now what we can do, we can pass that const. That should be, let's say, I'm gonna just pass that const, or we can simply make that, let's say, a console. We can simply pass that console.log. We can see what we are receiving, params. Now of course we need to pass that await parameter, await params. Okay, so the log, it can be coming right here, and as you can see, the server log also appear in the browser. So we can also open the browser console right here. So the console, we're going to clean everything, we can save it here, and as you can see in the server we get a flag called the save with cabbage. So right now, as it's coming within the object, if we simply passing that, let's say I'm going to simply make that const, that should be slag, it should be await params, and instead of the params, now we don't need to have the await because we called it before. So now as you can see, we got the params at save with cabbage. So according to that params, now we can call the product. It's very simple, we already called it before, so we know how we can create that. Now, of course, there should be passing an skeleton here. As you can see, once we are coming in this screen right here, you see once we are loading, there is a loading time. Now it's get the cache, right? So the first loading time when I'm coming at the first time in this product, if I go here, you see there is a pretty good decent loader is going on, which is pretty remarkable once we are passing. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pass some sort of variation here, which can really make the setup and can make the more relatable presence for me. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make a suspense right here. So as you can see in this layer, and now to make the fallback, we need to get a product skeleton, right? So which the skeleton gonna be coming by. So what I'm gonna do, there would be a like a folder structure. Let me just grab all the skeleton in particular layer. So under that components here, I'm gonna create another folder which gonna be hosting every skeleton, right? So in this skeleton, I'm gonna pass that this not the skeleton copy and remove that. So the skeleton which going to be passing by, let me go grab, and what's the directory here, right here. So the skeleton would be that. Now what actually that skeleton is providing, as you can see, we are tuning up such a product structure. Now the image is taking particular page, the sidebar is taking, so entire page structure is holding right here. Now you can go with this accordingly the way you want, and then you can make much more flexible the way you want to design it. For me, I'm using that. This is working for me, but maybe you are going to change the product structure, then you can also do the other parameter. Now when the skeleton gonna work, right? So whenever I'm going to come in here, it will not load the skeleton first. So it going to depends when it require. To enable the requirement right here, I'm going to, instead of passing that directly here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it. I'm going to use a suspense, right? A suspense, because we're going to also use in the server side. So we can predefine call the suspense, and according in the suspense, because we are not going to show when the loading is here, only will show in the fallback, so that it can provide a pretty much good decent parameter. So it should be the product skeleton. So let's say product skeleton, product page skeleton. Yes, that's the one. So now whenever it's gonna coming by, whenever I'm gonna coming in the particular page and I have some loading instances, it's gonna call that skeleton. Right now I don't have any loading instances. So what I'm gonna do, I need to create another setup. I can either go create a component, or I can simply create it right here. So like simply I'm gonna create another function which gonna be, let's say, called as the product page. content. Now I can create within this layer, the content can be coded, but better to create a separate functionality which can like make your code much more cleaner. And from here it should be return. Let's say that return gonna be passing by or instead of in that return, I'm gonna simply go with that. So this is the return here, or it could be return. Let's say it would be a deep product details. Okay, so instead of that particular segment here on the single product, I'm going to simply call that, let's say it's going to be calling that product page content. Okay, so right now you can see the details view is right here, and I'm going to call the slag. I'm going to pass the slag here according to the slag. So now this content have the slag property, and this content can fetch the data and do a lot of other things. And again, what I'm saying you, there would be some more details like fetch related data on the server side and so many others which is going to be new. So for like a proper responsive manner working in a server side, making in a proper valuable product integration, this one may be a little bit a bigger implementation, but trust me, it's gonna be helping you a lot once you're building the project such a good layer. Of course, it will be again asynchronous project layer, and over here I'm going to get the slag, and the slag should be, let's say slag I'm gonna go oops, it should be slag, should be our slag of a string. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna simply grab the product, because we know how to grab the product. It should be just get product by slag. And now if I log through it, okay, so let's say just logging the product, and here should be product du sorry ct. Okay, so now if we come back here and say the inspector right here, we should be, you see, it's server side. If you open your terminal here, you can see that. But to have a better understanding or better view, we're just viewing right here, and you can see here our entire product. And once you're viewing it, let me know if you have any like any anomaly in your responses which you're getting. You can see average rating is null because it doesn't have a rating on that. We have the brand, and the brand has the title, and you need to make sure that those things is working. And also brand has the slag, which can having to have the current. We have the categories, and you can see right here categories, we're getting the title of the categories, not just current, the title which we did structure as before. Then we have the colors. If we have the colors, it's gonna be showing here. We have description, discount, annual rating, management, has variance, has ways true. Our images is right here, and you can see the images parameter, and I'm going to show you how you can render. We have also is feature is full, name we're getting, price you're getting. We're gonna getting the rating, like rating distribution is a 5-star, 4-star. We have a 5-star, but it's not for that. It's coming from the previous data which you can retrieve. Then also what you can see, we have the sizes, proper sizes, XL, L, M, S, XS. What's the product is the 7-week cabbage. So this depend on us. If we provide the sizes it will come, the variation it will come. If we don't provide the sizes, it will not come. So it depends, or it depends on us what we are actually providing. Now then we have our slag, we have stock, total reviews, and use all colors true or use all sizes. You can see right here all are true. We can use all weights also. You have the variance here. You can see the proper variance as well. We have the entire weights parameter. We have when the product is created at. We have its ID, rev, system data layer. You can see the base in the base getting system data layer. We have the type of product and updated at. So our entire flow of data which is required to populate those things like in a perfect way, we are happen to have it right here. So now we can also pass a synchronized message, like if we doesn't have a product, if we, it can be possible, it doesn't have the product, what we can do, we can make simple like the not found from the next navigation. That's it. So there is a not found parameter coming from the next navigation which is inbuilt, so we can simply pass that. That's it. So right now, as if we have the product, only then it will render. Now if we go particularly, you can see, did you see the loader here? This loader is not depend on the loading or not. Whenever the fallback instances is coming, it's gonna show the loader. This is the beauty. This is the beauty how you can create in server-side component layer. I think you got the understanding. If you doesn't got it, let me know in the comments. And if you want something more to elaborate, I know there is a gap between the video uploading or others. Please forgive me for that, but I'm trying my best. So if you have any questions, you can always put it in the comments. Now let's go back to populate the data to make it in proper fashion. Now we will do a lot of other things which you can, I'm going to pass that and I'm going to keep the comment right here so that you will understand what actually we're doing and we're dealing, because everything going to be coming right now as a server side node in any client side directory here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get that related products, like related products, related brand, which going to coming by, and again get related products, which is coming directly from the Slack right here. You can see I'm using unstable cache, so I'm not doing any caches right here, so that can be seeing in real time. But once we're going to make it in production grade, you can do it. And of course you have the links in, especially in the code right here. Whenever you are viewing, you can get the premium branch whenever you are needing that. And you can see there's a 9 people who already bought this. Thank you very much, very lovely and fantastic. And there will be very much updating every now and then in automatically. You people, if you didn't get it, let me know in the comments, because I'm going to provide the link here. It's supposed to be there, and if it's missed, I'm going to do that for you. So right now, as you can see, we can now get that related products from the query. Feel free to go and view those things. So from that, we can also get the categories ID from the category. We can get the related products. We can get the brand which we need, and they're needing something more. Convert the null values on undefined TypeScript compatibility. So I'm going to pass it right here. So you can see the product of reviews, spreading the product, average rating we are providing, to the reviews we are providing, because we are going to use this data later on. And also we're going to pass that another one which going to be coming. You can see generate schema, okay, and you can see generate a breadcrumb schema. Okay, those things you may hear right now, but you can see if you go directly in the SEO, again you can see the proper SEO management here. So this 2 layer is purely for the SEO management, which gonna coming from the generating the product schema for the product with breadcrumb schema coming for the /home or shop, or if there is a product reviews name, going to be passing that. Where the error is showing right now, from where it's coming, we need to see it. So this is the slag here. I think something from here, or okay, this is gonna be coming by here. Okay, any, so it's not be any, it should be string. Okay, so no need to pass the any. Okay, right now what I'm gonna do, as we are happen to have the data, right? Data is populated, everything is good to go. Now we need to show the data, right? This should be a very good way. Now instead of showing, you can see this is the content where the data gonna be heading through. So now instead of showing like that, we can also, we can pass that script setup, that, because we are doing a sum of that best practices by which you can boost your SEO, right? And so what we're doing, we're scripting that, which is coming from the application adjacent and dangerously set in our HTML. We're passing that product HTML. Dangerously setting is it's not a good practice, but you can do it in that way. And if you want to do in some other way, which is more adaptable or mostly widely used, let me know in the comments. I'm going to make a separate video by which you can improve much more SEO, especially for the Go Farm. You can adapt it anywhere. Let me know. So right now I'm passing in this 2 way, both in product schema, breadcrumb schema, we're passing there. Okay, so right now, as we are happen to have that, now we need another parameter, because right now we need a client-side component. We got the data, but we need the interactivity, how we can grab that. So we have the product, as you can see right here, we have everything as the product. So it's now it's gonna be coming up from the as the product content. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go in our global component layer. I'm gonna create a separate file which gonna be product content.tsx rafce. That should be our product content. I'm gonna pass a p tag which gonna be, let's say, product content. So product content. Okay, I'm gonna call it here, let's say it's gonna be simply passing that product content. And now you'll be able to see the product content, because this there it may not it require the client-side interactivity, because we're calling everything, we have the everything. Now we're gonna pass the data, right? So first thing first, we're gonna pass that our product, right? So we're gonna pass our product, and the product gonna be coming, let's say, product with reviews, product with review, not the brands but the reviews. So the entire review setup is going to be passing by, and that should be according to that product, let's say product by Slack query. So this is the setup of that. So As you can see, that can be give you a much more interactivity layer by which you can understand what is that product by far so means, so it can be much more easier. Then also it gonna be happen to have that related products. So let's say related products, and in the related products it's going to pass that related products, and also if there is no related products it's going to passing as an empty string, and that could be as an unknown, and also it could be as a product, and the product would be not the params props, it should be as, let's say, product product, let me see, product. Okay, and that would be an array of product, and after that we're going to simply pass the brand, which can be, or no need to passing that undefined value, you can simply pass the brand. Now we go back to our product content, because all the magic's gonna be coming here, the data layer, everything gonna be passing by. So first of all, I'm gonna get the data, so I'm gonna get a simply define a props here, which is gonna be product content props. So this is the props here, as you can see, that can be passing by product by slag, it can be passing by product, it can be passing by product query result, brands query result. So you know our entire fragmentation is done, and you can remove those things to see if it's working or not, because we have the props there. So why it not, it should work, right? Because we are defining the props already within that parameter. So let's see if it's working fine. If it's not working, we will fix the parameter too. So right now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back to our content here. You can see we define the parameter, either it can be coming according to it. So right now it's time for us to grab it. So I'm gonna go with that product content, not that pro, let's say product content props. And in the props, we're going to have three things, which are going to be coming as the product, related products, brand. And you can see right here, still our error persisting. But if we just do those things right here, I think it's going to be okay. Yeah, as you can see, that's just gone. So we need to define is previously passing that, because we're using, this is going to be a server-side rendering. So we need to be careful how the way we render. So now we have our product, we have our product, we have our related products, we have our brand. We'll see if there we are leaving any kind of console or not, which I don't want to keep it here. No, we're good. So right now in the product content, we can have so many other parameters. First of all, let me see. We're going to get the actual data structure, which is going to be get actual review data from the product. So this is going to structurizing if the product average reduce rating is there, because it's coming either rating or the undefined. So we can assert it as a 0. If doesn't have to the reviews, we can also assign it as a 0, by which we can remove the error from. And also we can need to have that, let's say we're going to pass that compare the compare and share stores, right? As you can see, add to compare, which can get back our use compare state, and also use share store, also the other parameter. But right now, as you remember, we have that our use compare flag parameter or others? I don't think so. Okay, so I'm going to go directly in our stores. So let me go in the stores, and here, as you can see, we doesn't have that compare and share store. So we need to grab that two store here, which is going to be coming. One is that compare store. So I'm going to just simply remove that, and I need to grab my actual product, let's say product types. Where is the error? Okay, here. So this is the product type. Okay, this is the compare error. This is the compare segment, and there is the same thing which I can import here. Okay, I'm going to come back to it to explain you what actually we're doing. And here, first of all, let me encapsulate that one. Now, if we save, you see, we are happen to have the error, because all of this use compare store and use share store. Both are using the server-side client-side interactivity, because we're using Zustand. So we need to make the page as client-side. Now, where are we going to need it? Just you're going to hang on, because you're going to see where actually we are using it. We're using it very much so often. Now over here in the compare store, as you can see, we have add to compare, remove from compare, clear compare, is in compare. You can see right here, whenever we have a product right here, right? So you can see if we click, it's getting added to compare list. Now, if we go directly in the compare, we have a product to compare. Now, if we search for, let's say tomato, and you can see we have it to compare. We have, let's say, fresh, or to search anything, we have fresh strawberries, we have another fresh, we have a fresh watermelon, and we can let's say fresh. And right now if we have 4, if we try to have that, you can see only maximum 4 products can be added in the compare, and we are using it managing proper state, not just like passing data. You can see right now even you reload, it will not go, it's right here. So you can see we have the status, we have the price changes, rating, reviews, availability, stock quantity, base weight, brand, categories, variant type, has weights, has variance, feature, description, or action. You see every single data with what is the comparable or not, it is passing here. And from where we're getting it, it's coming directly from, without managing the other parameter, we are managing a proper store using the Zustand and using the Zustand middleware. So even we reload, it's staying there. So what actually is doing? First of all, is have a one, two, three, four function and one compartment value setter. Now the max compare item is 4. Now use compare store is getting a persist value, and the compare products by default, which is coming right here, is an empty by default. It's an empty state, no value, nothing is right there by default. Then if we have the add to compare, what is going to do? Whenever we're having to have the add compare, by default, we're passing a props as the product. Now the product is coming as the get value to get the compared products. Now if we're checking, first we're checking. Now you see I'm leaving the comments here. It's not only me, I'm getting help from the AI and so many other ways, so you can understand whenever you're reading code. I really recommend you go through every single line of code before implementing, which can be a very much good of help. And if you want production ready code, you can grab it, which is simply sanitized, fully modified, and you can use it anywhere to start your business right now. And there is one more thing is there. You can always feel free to go to that reactjs.com here, and there you can find every single, there's a lot of projects here which is very cool, and you can directly go in that the free projects right here, and these links also be available right here in this project structure, where you can get entire project segment by free. There is around I think 42, so if I add it here, so it will be 43. You're welcome. So okay, now if we have the compare products, we're checking first if this product is already added in the compare. If it's added, what we're passing, product already added in the compare list. Now this product is added. If I try to add it again, you can see product already in compare list, not in normal state. We are passing directly from our state which we are managing using Zustand, which is reversed and cool. Now we're also checking the limit. Entire statement value is coming from here. Then if the length is bigger or equal than the max compare items, we are passing that products can be compared. So the 4 items only can be the compared, because we provide 4. If we pass the max value more, it can be more. And also you can maintain it using that .env file according to the like static or others. Then after, if both of the passing, like it's not in the compare, we have the limit, then what you're doing, you are setting as the compare products, it's spreading whatever the compare products has, then just pushing that product right there, and we are passing the just masses that added to compare list. If they are stuck on that, it will not coming right here. Then the remove compare, what here is doing is just removing that compare, removing from the compare according to the ID, and clear compare, which gonna compare the entire list. Like if I come here, let me go directly in the compare. So if I go back here, if I remove one, if I clear all, remove all. That's it, so simple. Now after that, is in compare or not, you see this is the one which is checking, just checking with the value. So this is the one. And then another is share store. So how we are doing that, you can see, especially if we go in that single product, you have a state by which you can share. If you go click on that share, you can see, wow, it's fantastic. You can copy the link and you can just passing it. You can see the link would be shareable. You can copy WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook. It will automatically open that particular value. You can even see, you can copy. So in both way, it's really optimized and rendered. It's maintained with proper SEO friendly data layer and others. So you can see is when share store is clicked, we have two value to is one is boolean is open. There is a product value, open share or not is a void function. Close share, which is void. Now is open false, product can be null, open share, you see how it open, and close share how it's closed. This is simple little structure, but better to keep it in that way. So we have that also. You can see we can add to compare, is in compare, we can do it according to the compare store, and open share, we can use that open share store also is in compare list. We are managing in that is in compare from our compare preview structure. So this is the value which is, you see, is a lot of things, but once you are going to do coding, you will feel nothing because all the codes is with you and all the setup is with you. And so you can do it very simple way. And if you're having any question, having any issue, you can always let me know in the comments. Now, also, we can manage some state, and that state going to be coming for the dynamic pricing based on weight section and others. So now in our previous code is coming with the use state reactor. We can simply call it from the React directly. Okay. So now here you can see weights a variant which we are passing in any. We can go with the any. You can also manage to say that without any. That's up to you. But right now it's working for me. Like weight, we can just simply pass that. Let's say weight. Did we have the product weight? You can see, and also it can go with that proper type of that product size. You can see, and also it can go with that product's color. You can see that's very simple. This is because all the type is right here, which we generated using the type gen. Because this is pretty cool. Now here, the display prices and set display price, which is going to coming according to the state. We are making that product.price, otherwise a zero value, similar for the weight, similar for the initial weight ID, similar for that selected options, which we are setting according to it. Okay. Now, after that, we also going to do something to track product view on component mount to have a proper understanding and proper compartment. And this is we're gonna do in using that use effect parameter. So this function is not yet created, which we need to create for the. This is going to be for analytics data. Remember, we have the Google Analytics log. So I'm gonna pass that to you. I'm gonna pass the data layer so you know how you can track it if you want to implement. So I'm gonna just provide it here so you can use it. Okay, so this is how the Firebase Analytics gonna work. I'm gonna just pass that, and the entire code it will be there, so you can modify or you can do on that. So now use effect, if the product track a product view, if you go here, you can see you can go with the view product. Now you can use the entire property is right here to maintain a proper structure to follow through or to go by or to make or to maintain your entire Google Analytics data by maintaining the Google. So it's up to you if you want to make the analytics or not, but I keep the file for you. And again, because the SEO and analytics both are two separate part of the e-commerce, and both part are very, very massive to leverage your e-commerce in higher mechanism. So if you are really looking forward to like do a video for that, let me know in the comments, because I would love to do it. Now, after that, I'm going to also make an use effect. This is going to be a very, very huge use effect, because this will make me or help me to get the initial price calculation and others. I believe you need to also, you can also get that, because for this one, we can also do it. I will make that as, let's say, product weight. Okay, that should be coming the initial ID, or I'm going to just passing that one. Let's say, okay, fine. Okay, so right now what we are doing here, I'll explain to you so that you can have a very good sense on it. Now you can go with the typo. You can see, you know how to grab all the typo which is defining here. So this is going to be, say, the default weight selection and calculate initial price here. So if the product has weight, has like the weights is here, and also array is coming with the weights, the active weights getting with that active weights, if the is active true, otherwise it's mechanism to make it the false. So this is an entire mechanism by which, as you can see, once you are coming, because the is active one, the default one going to be selected. You can see the first one. If you select that one, would be selected. So every mechanism, and for the every product, there would be a default active value. So whenever the product has the weight value, that has a default active value. So according to it, it's gonna save that. So if active value is bigger than 0, you can see it's going to get that active value is the first value on there. And also it's gonna be calculate the initial price for the first weight from the base price and then the base weight. Then if the discount is there, that's gonna be combined. And if the base weight and the first weight numeric value is there, then you see the price ratio is making that calculated price is providing there from the base price into price ratio, and then is making that setting the display price. So I think setting display price is I think it's going to be okay. It should not the error going to be the applied adjust here price handles it. Okay, so we can remove it if we don't want. So I'm going to keep it right now, and then we'll see if we can find any anomaly there. Now also set weight information is right here, which is going to be coming. Now you can see I'm making the copy pasting, not sometimes, frequently on that, because this application is massive. If we go to explain each and every single, you will lose the concentration. So better to dump some of the code, because the entire code base, it will be with you. So now there is a weight value for it, and then the other parameter. So now, as you can see, everything we are providing on that. Now we need to grab the product. Now there is an animation going on, as you can see how the product is loaded whenever, especially if we go here and if we open any of the product. Let me go to get the avocado. You can see a slight loading animation is going on, so we can go and make that one in proper way. So first of all, as you can see, we're going to create a product client wrapper here, okay, which going to give us actual animation ratio. So I'm going to go in the components, I'm going to passing that data. This is going to be the product wrapper animation, proper client wrapper. Now in the proper client wrapper, you can see we have a motion effect right here, which going to be getting that from the class name, from the color here, from the linear, from white to gray 50-50, and min height should be screen here, because every time we saw it here only should be the screen view. Okay, later on it already renders, so the first obvious view should be a very good. Now did you notice one thing? We are getting the product in the server side, then we are doing everything in the client side. So all the animation when is happening, all the setup once is happening, our data is loaded. So either if you don't want animation, data is there, you can show it. So also the wrapper is right here, because entire segment is right there to show the proper animation setup. So you can go through the animation layer, which is pretty much using that motion react, as you know already. That is a very good library for that. The similar library which you use, that framer motion, right now is saying it as the motion. You can go in the documentation, click on get started, and feel free to go explore the react version of it, so that it can make a lot of sense, and you'll understand how and why you are going to implement it. So right now, as we have that, instead of that div layer right here, I'm going to wrap entire thing with that, let's say product animation, let's say product animation wrapper. Okay, so entire segment going to be wrapped according to it. Okay, so right now we have the product animation wrapper. You can see it's getting the main menu width of the screen, so that's pretty good. Now also, instead of that p tag, I'm going to use directly our container, which is pretty good, a solid structure to feel free to build it. As you may remember, we have a max width of 7 pixel, which is 1280 pixel, and also the padding X and max auto, which is everything combined in properly, and you can see a very good view in the middle. So right now we are going to start providing that data. Now first of all, we need to capture. You can see right here we have a breadcrumb which is dynamic. We need to create the dynamic breadcrumb. Also, let me make that should be, let's say, breadcrumb. Breadcrumb, that should be navigation. That would be one which you're going to create, and we're going to create a function called dynamic, let's say dynamic breadcrumb. Do you have? No, it doesn't have it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a file, simple file here. So that's the navigation which you're going to use for the common. That would be a common file .tsx rfce. That would be our proper navigation, which gonna be handled everything as dynamic. Not only that, all the setup going to be combined, so that would be dynamic navigation. So here we're gonna just simply grab it, breadcrumb. Okay, now this breadcrumb, you better save it for any kind of project. This would be a very solid and logical build. You're gonna see it how we are doing that. So first of all, we're gonna, every single time when we're gonna call the dynamic breadcrumb, it's gonna grab a data, like a structurable data, and from here we're gonna pass the name, and here right now we're gonna pass that product name. Otherwise, if it's not there, then it should be coming as an empty, not the product. And also we're gonna pass that, let's say, the slag. Whenever we're gonna have the slag, it's gonna get the product.slag.current, otherwise it would be empty. Right now, as you can see, we have the dynamic breadcrumb, but it should not be look like that. We want this one from there according to it, but not static. You can see once you go in the product, home product is right there. If you go in how DLC deal, if you go in the compare, so wherever we implement, we didn't implement everywhere. You can see the home blog, and if you click any of the blog, that's the same breadcrumb which you use in the product. that's the one which we are particularly doing. We are trying to maximize our individual layer so that we can call everything in pretty decent manner. Now let's go back to our dynamic breadcrumb. And again, if you are really get annoyed, whatever is I'm talking too much because I'm excited with that, then really I'm sorry for that. Let me know in the comments if you doesn't like it. I will be very much happy to avoid what you feel better. Right now, there will be a much more interface for it, as you can see. And by the way, it should be entirely as a client side. So I'm going to just first dump on that, should be use client. Now here what we're getting, we're going to getting the custom items, which is going to be an arrow label of href. We're going to getting the class limb. So it can get a lot of things. Not all, you see the product data, this is the product data which getting, because the other tab, it will get a lot of data. It can get the category data, because whenever you are happen to have that, let's say I'm going to go in a category, I will show you once so that it can make a lot of sense. I click on the foods. You can see right here, categories foods. If I see, those are dynamic generated data, not static, which can really be making good sense. Right now, let me go back here. Then we have also the brand data, and then we also have the parent path. So this is our entire statement to grab that. And you're gonna simply just capture that. Should be the props, and from the props we're gonna get all the items from the top. And as you can see, we're passing the class name by default as an empty string. So as we get the data, now we can show the data accordingly. So first of all, we will again maintain two other things. First of all, we need to get the path name, like which path it is currently rely on. If and there is a value on that, to view on that, path name should be is equal to use path name. And we make sure once you're getting that, should import from the next navigation. And if you log that data, let's say I'm going to log the path name, and let's say path name, and I will be able to see which path name I am in. So if I just inspect on that, you can see right now the path name. Okay, let me see if we just okay, because right now I didn't go in that particular page. If I go here, you can see the path name. I have the product / cab, like the Savoy cabbage. So I have the path name, and then the same way I will make another state for that, which will maintain a much more breadcrumb on it, which gonna be detected parent path name, and that one will maintain using the use state, which gonna be, we're passing it right here. And of course we will pass an use effect to go and grab all the bridge to detect every time the page is loading. And what is going to do, let us see how it's going to finish. So you see, I'm gonna also get the detect path, which gonna be okay. Okay, that is the common error, or like the common setup is right now. You can either go, like if we click on the quick fix here, I will see what my copilot going to be suggesting on that. You can see you can just disable it entire files and it will just revoke one. There is some of the new rules which is implementing, but it will not do any harm on that. So if we doesn't have the current path name, we're just passing the parent path name as the current path name. How it's going to happen? I'm in the shop. Okay, I'm not here. So I am now in the product, right? So as you can see, I doesn't have a child. So this is the parent path name. So it will keep on that as parent. Now this is the child path name. You see, child path name I can't click, but the parent I can click. So this is how it's going to combine on that. Then the clear parent context, we are just if the path name is dashboard, you see, we are just putting the session storage remove item breadcrumb parent, because you know once we are just logging out, we need to get the context with dashboard itself gonna be coming with the parent context. Then also check if it came from dashboard based on document referrer. So that's how it's gonna be coming on that to get if we came from the dashboard or we came from the other setup. So it will understand on that, and also it will check the storage for navigation context property, because this gonna be maintained also in the dashboard. If you go okay, I can simply log in on my account here. Let me just try with the Google here, and then if we go in our page, so let me just go and grab and extract. It's taking a bit of time because in the production sometimes for the network leverages it's taking a little bit of time. So once you are trying it in real life, feel free to have a little bit patient on that. So now if we go here, as you can see, I can go and view the dashboard, and this dashboard gonna maintain according to its own current path setup. Okay, so that's the one which I passing it there. So if you use it, you will get a more sense of understanding on that value. So right now we are passing, we almost pass everything, and there is another to get the level. right? So there is the function which will generate the label. Now the format segment label here, and as you can see, we're getting the segment here, and the handle is special cases. Sign in should be the sign in, sign up should be the sign up name, my account should be, because I am trying to cover up a lot of scenario. So order history going to be the order history. If special class is there, then segment, otherwise passing on that segment here, which is returning on that. And also the return segment, it's gonna split up. You see right now this one have that Savoy dash cabbage, and then we are putting in a space, and that space gonna coming from here. We were splitting it according to it within that. You can see right here. So now you know how we're gonna do that. So now as passing that, now we're gonna do something very tricky. What we're gonna do, this is time to do the moment of truth. So we're gonna just simply generate breadcrumb items based on path name and dynamic data. How we can do that? So now const, I'm gonna make that generate should be breadcrumbs. Okay, so breadcrumbs, and that should be simply in an arrow function here. That's it. So now from the arrow function, I'm going to pass that path segments, and the segments going to be is equal to, we're going to simply pass that path name, and dot split. We're going to split according to a / right here, and after that we also make a / dot a filter property here, and on that filter value we can simply go by to passing that, let's say in the filter I'm going to simply pass that segment. So segment, and here we can go by. Okay, so that should be how it gonna, if we go grab the segment, should be, let's say segment, if it's right there, that if it's not equal to, should be an empty value. So this is how the structure are going to be done. Okay, let me see. I'm messing in something somewhere. Should be passing. Okay, I'm just, okay, what I messed around when I'm typing. So this is the path segment. This is the path segment is equal to path name dot split. I'm passing the split, then dot filter. Oh, I mess around with the filter. There should be one more. Okay, there should be something like that. If I go with the filter, you can see right now this is the filter. There should be another functional layer. So write that, because it's gonna be a function, right? And then it's gonna work like that. It's not equal to, let's say, an empty. So now it's gonna work like that. So I'm gonna just popping those things, because those things is not that much like, this is combining on that. You can create the breadcrumb in that way. There is multiple way to go by, so it's up to you. But the other one, which actually showing data and others, which we're gonna do by one by one. Right now let me see what kind of things we generate. Now as you can see, we are okay, did we have that? Okay, we duplicate the function. Okay, so right now we have the generate breadcrumbs, and here we are getting the path segments from the path name. Then also we are getting the breadcrumbs separate from the label, href or is last to one, and always starting from the home, which gonna providing that home there. You can see / home always there. Then also if we are on home page, you know, that should be returning breadcrumbs only, so the empty length it will be 0. And then the other active property, then build breadcrumbs for each segment, and then the current path, the parent segment and others, then the parent segment on the category here for the brands, and label property, and like replacing the custom items if provided here, then returning the breadcrumbs. You see everywhere it's just providing the breadcrumb setup. Now how we are going to show it? Now in the div here, as we have the data, we can simply grab our breadcrumb. Let me see if we have that breadcrumb. No, it doesn't have the breadcrumb. If we go especially on our, let me go grab that components UI module. No, it doesn't have the breadcrumb. So I'm going to open my terminal, and okay, I'm gonna open a new terminal here. That should be cd web and pnpm dlx Shakshian at latest should be opening that. We are going to grab entire breadcrumb. Okay, so now the breadcrumb setup, it's gonna implement it here, import it here, so that we can simply use it anywhere. So let's just get imported. So I'm gonna give a little bit of time to just to install everything for it. As the breadcrumb installs, now we can start building that. So we can simply click on that breadcrumb. As you can see, it's coming by, and here we can simply pass that breadcrumb list, and here it's gonna popping up that list. And after passing the list data right here, you can see right now it's getting nothing because we removed that. So also I can just remove this one. So after that, okay, there should not be breadcrumb link, should be breadcrumb list. Okay, I can just simply pass that. Instead of that, should be breadcrumb list. Okay, so that would be coming by. Okay, after the list, we can simply like go and make a fantastic behavior here. I think, okay, there's nothing. So here you can see the data right here, which is going to be like the breadcrumb. If we just make log on that to grab the breadcrumb, let's say the breadcrumb, I think, did we have the breadcrumbs? Did we fix the data? Okay, we didn't call that function. So should be, let's say, const breadcrumb should be is equal to generate breadcrumbs. Okay, so now here we can just simply call the breadcrumbs to just to see where the breadcrumb underlines. You can see here we have an array. We have home, we have product, we have salary capital. So we have three data. So we have three perspective breadcrumb which is coming within the array. We can load the array, then we can passing that. And as you can see right now, home we have the href, product we have the href, the slag we doesn't have the href, so that it really making the sense which one going to be linkable, clickable. So from there we can make the decision. Right now, as you can see, we can simply make that breadcrumbs dot map, and on that map we can simply make to see that cram, and we're going to take an index property value here, and from that property we're going to inline return here, and there I'm going to pass a div. On the div it should be breadcrumb item, so that would be the breadcrumb item, and in the item we can simply pass that if we have that crumb, let's say the crumb which is passing that dot is latest is there, only then it's gonna be entertaining on that. Okay, why this one is gone? So if it's there and if it's not there, there should be two value property. Let's say just hello, and then we're gonna simply pass that another p tag just to see what is actually going on. No, okay, right now okay, why we are grabbing it? Okay, there is an error because it's an item, so we need to provide that actual list here, not any other setup. Okay, I'm going to go again with that property. So this is the breadcrumb item which we are passing right now, because we need to provide a key value here. So the key should be, I'm going to provide the key as the index property, whatever the index we are holding that. So now in that breadcrumb, what I'm going to do, I don't know why this, okay, okay, we can just ignore that. So right now what I'm gonna do is just coming from the obvious. So here I'm using obvious for recording this screen by so far. It's fantastic to use, and I use a lot of paid one, but obvious, which is I'm taking obvious. So now what I'm gonna do to make that cramped, so I'm gonna just make that cramp dot is latest is there, then I'm going to provide something, otherwise I'm going to provide something. If we have that latest one is latest one, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it breadcrumb, let's say breadcrumb, oh sorry, breadcrumb page. So the page gonna be here, and on that page what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna simply pass that crumb dot level. Okay, so that would be our first priority. If we doesn't have that is latest one, oops, should not be there. If we doesn't have the is latest one, what we want to make another property, which again going to be, let's say, breadcrumb link. Let's say breadcrumb link here. So the link property to available, which going to be clickable, and here I'm going to pass the link here, which going to coming from the Next.js, which going to be passing as the next link property. And on that link value property, what I'm going to go and implement here, okay, let me go drag on that. I'm going to just provide that if we have that index property value here, if index going to be, let's say, is equal to, or is this coming, yeah, if index is equal to 0, so let me just pass that is equal to 0, so means we have only one value is there, then means we're gonna render a home, which gonna be an home icon from Lucid React. And here I'm gonna also provide the size, which gonna be 16, and also the link going to be an href for that. So the href going to be, let's say, if the cramp crumb. If crumb.href is there, then the href, and otherwise it should be and / home. That's it. So as you can see, we have home, we have survey cabbage, but there is something more which you need to provide, which is not here, which is going to be coming after that, because we need to provide, this is going to be if we have that like the setup. Then after that, we're going to provide a span tag here, and in this span tag should be passing that cram.label. As you can see right now, we're going to home, we're going to product, we're going to have the label, like kind of mixed up the things, but we can provide the class name to make it look better. So first of all, let me go put the class name here for the first instances, which can be make it much more better. We're gonna make it as a flex, or we can simply pass that note like that. We can put a backtick, or also we can use the CLSX or CN from there in the lib. So here, first property here, which we're gonna make that flex item should be center, and then hover text should be, let's say, go from green, and also you're gonna make that hover effect. I think if we go and look back in our global CSS, we should be happen to have hover effect. Did we have that? Did we have that? Or we can search hover. Yeah, we have that. Okay, cool. We can use it. So now if we go here, as you can see the hover is going on. So right now, as the hover is going on, we can make it much more better. So first of all, after that, if the index, let's say index is equal to 0, we're going to provide a gap. Gap, or we're gonna make the flex item center. If it's index 0 should be, yeah, this already there. Why we need to make that? That's my condition. It's already there. Okay, anyway, if we need, we can simply pass that later on. Now for this span tag here, we're gonna provide a class name. We're gonna provide that, let's say, if the we can simply make that, let's say, cn here, and then we're gonna pass that if index property, not like that. I think instead of cn, we can go directly here, because we're gonna have only a simple property here. Index is equal to, let's say, is equal to, if the index is 0 here, then the margin left going to be 1. I think 1 is enough. 1 is enough. Otherwise going to be, let's say, otherwise going to be empty. Okay, so now this is the value property here. Okay, fine, looks good. Now what I need to do, I need to go directly in that breadcrumb page right here. So this need to be looks good also. Put a class name, text should be, let's say, go from green, and after that we're gonna make that font should be medium, and then I'm gonna also make that trunket. So trunket, and max weight should be extra small, so to make it more nice and clean. And for the div here, we can simply pass that class name. We can make it flex item center, and you can give a gap also if you want, you know, so to make to roam, but I think that's pretty fine. It looks good. Now here in the div here, we can simply make a class name. We can use the cn here value, so you know, by default gonna be margin bottom, and then also the class name property. Now whenever we are calling that, we can either, right now, as you can see, there is a gap in between. Either you can keep it here, or instead of margin bottom, you can always use the MY, or you know, MY4 if it's look more, if you can use the M3 or M2, depend on you. So now I think this is a very much good example of how we can provide that. Now of course, if we have the breadcrumb list right now, you see the breadcrumb item here. So this is the item, and after below that lib, if we have that, you know, we can use that breadcrumb separator to make it better. If we doesn't have the latest value, you know, we have that. So latest one, you can see latest one, the last one, right? This is the parent, this is the subparent, this is the latest. So now if we doesn't have a latest value, which one is not latest, it should be happen to have a breadcrumb separator. So now this is looks nice and clean and pretty decent. Now you got it. Everything looks perfect, looks fine, looks diligent. Now it's time to build up our other parameter. You know, we are doing a lot of things. We are doing a lot of things, but later on, whenever in the other page, I'm going to skip those vivid description, because then you're going to have a better understanding of some other part. Now, of course, should we have the details property here, which can be, let's say, our product details. So in the details, we're gonna have two pairs, and both pair. First of all, if we have that product dot, let's say I'm having to have that images, and we're gonna have a separate compartment here, which also gonna be wrapping with that, let's say, a product image wrapper. I'm going to wrap through it, and we doesn't have the property here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create another component. Let me just go create in the root, which is going to be image view.tsx or fce. That should be our image view. Okay, now this image view gonna hold a lot of things, so that should be image view here. As you can see, we have the image view, and in the image view we will contradict so a lot of things. First of all, if you go directly here, you're gonna pass two separate value to happen to have in the image view. First of all, which gonna contain all the images which gonna be coming from the product images, and it is stock going to be product stock. And this gonna be sometimes, if right now I think all the products happen to have a very good full stock, because if we doesn't have a stock property, then we can understand. And also you can see for the, I think some product gonna have a multiple value here. There is one product which have the multiple image, which I need to find which one, then I can show you, because that product gonna be make a good of sense to show you why we need that separate component. You can see, I think this one having, yeah, you can see right here, if I click, okay, there is the image is loading. You know how decent is that? And yeah, this is good. This is really good. So that's why we are just separating the image view from that compartment. And also after that, product details, product, this is not details, that should be product images. So images, and after the product images, we're gonna have that, let's say, product details. And on the product details, that should be also the product details, let's say product, I think product details wrapper. Oh no, what is that? Product image wrapper. This is the details wrapper. Did we have the details wrapper? I think so. Did you create that? Yeah, that should be in the wrapper. Yes, because we created everything together. Yeah, in the details wrapper. And here we're gonna, first of all, let me just show some data which can be good. So first I'm gonna provide the title and category. Okay, so that at least we have something to see. So I'm gonna provide a div here, and over here I'm gonna provide, let's say it's gonna be coming by the batch property layer. So that should be coming according to it. You can see I'm going to provide the badge which is already passing there. This is going to be the badge of here. You can see the best food company, so that's going to be wrapping on that. You can see cooking Mars, so getting that property, the brand, if the brand is there, we're going to get the first name. Now we have the property value to show. Of course, these things, these two, this is the one, this is the two. So this two property gonna need to be defined in very good way. We'll take a div for it. So this is the div, and on that div, now I will make it looks better. Put a class name. I'm going to flex. By default gonna be flex column, and MD should be flex row. I'm going to put a gap of 10, and I'm going to put a padding bottom of 6. Okay, you see, side by side looks pretty decent, because the wrapper gonna handle everything and it's gonna hold in a pretty very better way. So right now, first of all, before going to on that segment, first I'm gonna go directly in the image view to show the image data and others, because that's pretty fantastic while we are building the images and others. Now for the images, I'm gonna just create a dummy props here. You can also get the props from the product data. As you can see, we can just simply go to grab the data here. I can grab this spot here. I can grab the prop property here. Okay, crop. Okay, and that's the last one. And if you are just simply go to in the types, you can see we have the product type, product size, and here we have somewhere we have the coupon. Okay, let me search for the product. Okay, UCT. Okay, right now we have product color, we have size, weight, product. You see, that's the product. And this is the image. This is the actual one. You can simply copy that. You can simply copy that, or simply can define it. So if you just see here, this is the one which you're using. So this is the product props, image props, which is the coming an arrow of images. And in the image, we have the asset, we have the hotspot, crop, type, key, everything which is required. Now in the image view, everything gonna be coming from the props, and on that particular image, we will get that as the images. So enter image is going to be there. By default, it will be an empty property, and also going to be coming the edge stock. So two value going to be there. And of course, I'm going to make it as, again, maybe we can use it in somewhere, so we can make it better to use clients. So if you want to use it server-side component, by default, you can simply use it. Now we'll show the image. First of all, we need to grab two property. One, you can see right here, there is an active image by default on the company. The first one is getting as active image. So now we need to show which one going to be active image. So I'm going to generate a state here. So let's say count should be is active, or we can just simply make that as active, set active, and by default going to be use effect. And the first one, instead of 0, it should be coming from the images. So whatever the images is right there should be coming as the first one, going to be setting as the existed property here. I don't want to get the suggested right here, but it's just always coming by. So the first image going to be getting our image value, right? So right now, as you can see in the div, we can also put some class name property or props impromptu here. Put a class name which should be full space y should be, let's say I'm going to provide a 2 here, and md space y should be, let's say 4. Okay, so to have a proper value direction. Now over here, so as the view here, so let me just pass that. Here I'm going to make that one animate presence, and why we're doing that, you need to understand first before manipulating on the other parameter. You see animate presence, where you require, you can see once we click, you see how the animation is going on, how a very like fade in fade out animation is passing that, that's the animation for this. Redirecting on that, we need the animate presence to run it. So, and also the animate presence, we're going to pass the mode, which going to be coming as a wait mode. And after that, we're going to use that motion and dot, like let's say I'm going to simply grab the motion. This is not coming directly here, so that's the motion which we're going to use, and that should be motion dot div, because we're going to particularly use the motion parameter. And here our first image going to be our image coming from our next image, and then for the source should be url4, and there I'm going to simply pass our active one, so the active image, and I will say get back the URL, so that's going to provide me as our URL. That's it. So this is going to be containing, you see there is nothing because we need to provide within hide and other properties we will provide. So first of all, the property, the alter property should be, let's say it should be, I'm going to passing that product image, and then I'm going to pass that let's say put a class name here. The width should be the full width, it's going to be passing from there, and max height, I'm going to provide a custom max height, going to be 550 pixel. The not xp but pixel. Okay, so that would be our first. Okay, we can now, I think it can be written as 137.5. okay, max height 137.5. okay, good. And after that, we're gonna also pass a border property, and the border should be go from say should be, okay, what's the value? Border go from, I think the black would be good, and I'm going to provide a 10% opacity here. Rounded MD, we're going to provide a group, and overflow should be hidden. Okay, let's see what's the error. And the error is saying an hydration error, the link breadcrumb. Oh, why is coming now? Okay, let me see. Let us go directly in our breadcrumb. So dynamic breadcrumb here. It's saying breadcrumb link is giving the error. Okay, so if the breadcrumb link is giving the error, I will comment the link here just to see if this is the error. Yeah, so now it's saying the CDN image is requiring the width property here, but this requirement, from where is coming, this requirement is not there. It should be, yeah. I think I was getting the wrong parameter where those things is going to be passing by. This you see this one, this should be coming in the global layer, not here. Okay, and for the product image, we will provide a width should be 700, and also I'm going to provide the height should be 700. So 700 width, 700 height, which would be very good. You can see the image right here, and our breadcrumb, it looks fine. So right now we have the image property, and if we go here, I think this is the max height, and also I'm going to provide a min height. Let's say min height, which going to be also provided 450 pixels, so 450 pixel, and I believe there is a way to write that, which going to be as 112.5, 112.5, 112.5. Instead of custom, you can use their own class name property. Now over here, I'm going to use that priority to render it whenever product is showing. Put a class name, and on that class name, I'm going to make the CN property value here. And on that CN, I'm going to provide a, now I can modify how the way I can match through it to make it, to get it the maximum value property. Here I'm going to get the width of full and the height. You can see right now the similar property because it's the image. So it's better to keep in the good combination on that. So let me go and grab it. So that's the height property which we're gonna provide. Okay, so you can see right now the image. Okay, I think I messed up something. Okay, there should be the height is that, max height is that, okay, mean height is 500 pixels, so 137.5. that one should be 137.5, and here this one going to be 1 to 5. I think this is good. 1 to 5, and then it's no, it's not working. Why? I think something wrong. Also, we are putting that, yeah, if we put that mean height like that, it actually capturing, but if we put mean height 1 to 5, it's not capturing 1 to 5. Oh, it's capturing. I think before it was like a problem. And the object is contained. If whenever we're gonna hovering on the group, it's getting that hover on a scale. And if you hover, you see right here, okay, looks good, pretty similar and pretty legit. No, it's not similar. I think I have some issue on that. No, I think it's good. Anyway, we can go and fix that if we require. And also if we make that, if each stock property is available, we can just simply make that opacity. We can make grayscale or opacity. Also we can make 50 if we wanted to, which can be looks good and pretty decent. And this is the first image which we are showing here, but later on we need to also get our other image. I'm gonna go the similar product, which will be much more. Okay, I was in the similar product, right? A ratio. So let me go in the shop here. Okay, we doesn't have it in the shop. We doesn't have the page yet. So right now, what we can do, we can go. Yeah, we can actually. Okay. Wait. Okay, there is an issue because we didn't get it as a banner. Did our search bar is all working? No, search is also didn't implement it. Anyway, so now we can simply go with that product dandy. Okay, so that's the one which we can do. We need to create everything, of course. We need to create everything, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. It's a massive build, so it will gonna go. Yeah, I think this view and this view. Yeah, same view. Okay, good, perfect. So right now we have that image. After that motion div right here, animate pages is finished right here. Then we also need to do another things because we have entire images which gonna be, let's say, not images dot, I'm gonna go through, like, if the length is bigger than 1, only then it would be available. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna have another div here. On the div, we're gonna map through our images. So should be images, let's say images dot map. For every single images, I'm gonna take the image and then gonna passing that, let's say it should be happen to have a button. We're gonna use a custom button, and we're gonna use the image tag from next image. And for the key, we're gonna use that image, let's say image, not like that, image dot key. So that would be the key. Oh, key should not be here, key should be here. Okay, so key should be here. Okay, I think, yeah, there is the miscommunication here, should not be here. And for that one, the source should be, let's say it's gonna be coming for that URL4, and over here we're gonna pass that image dot URL. Okay, not image dot, we're gonna simply pass the image, and we're gonna use that URL property here. So that's it, it's gonna provide our image value. Right now, as you can see, okay, we didn't get it because we need to provide the width and height property. We will provide, so width should be, let's say 100, 100, and also we're gonna provide a height of 100. So these two value property gonna be modifying properly. You can see right now this looks fine. There is an error which is happening. As you can see right now, providing the key alternative props is not here, and I'm gonna provide that, let's say alternative property, which gonna be passing that. You can simply pass that. Let's say it's gonna be, I'm gonna use a backtick thumbnail of image. Then we can just passing the key, which can be looks better and decent. Now for the class name, I'm going to make that width should be full and also height should be auto, object should be contained. By default it is, but better to keep it. And here we're going to make that key already we provided. We're going to put a class name here, and the class name going to be using the CN property value here. And the first CN property value, we're going to put a border. Border should be, let's say, around it. We're going to provide the first border rounded should be MD. Okay, fine. You can see right here we have border, we have rounded property, and then we're gonna use that another property overflow should be hidden. And now as we're mapping from here, we can make the maximize scenario. You're gonna provide a class name, you're gonna make it a grid, and grid column should be coming as a 6, and gap should be 2. We're gonna provide a height of 20, MD height should be 24, so it's gonna maximize the height property. You can see right here. So right now border, we're gonna provide a border should be, let's say, border. Yeah, now we have the border value property. Now there is another things which it can be done here. What we're gonna do, if the active key, let's say active key on that, then we're gonna simply pass that. You can see right here. I think instead of, yeah, this one we can just simply keep an empty. Okay, we can just simply pass that instead of this green here, because we want to highlight it. We can pass the rain color. You can see right here, once it's selected, now nothing happening is because we need to make a function here, and the function gonna be, let's say, on click. Whenever we're going to click on that, we're going to run a simple function. Set active should be our, let's say, the image, whatever image you're going to pass. If you click here, you can see right here, okay, it's happening, but animation is not here because we didn't implement it right yet. We have the motion div, but we didn't provide and the actual structure. Now in that motion div, what I'm going to do, key should be our active, let's say active dash key. That should be our key value. Initial value should be opacity gonna be 0, so no, it will not show. And whenever it gonna be animated, the opacity going to be as the 1. Okay, and after that opacity 1, we also gonna make that an exit property, like exit property here. So that would be opacity would be 0, and whenever it gonna happen to have the transition, so transition going to be, let's say, the duration going to be, let's say, duration going to be 0.5 to provide a maximum duration capability. If you click right now, wow, fantastic. Now we have the value, we have the setup. Now we know what it's actually going through and making things. Right now you can see we have our value structure, we have our setup, and we are very good to go to bring back the other statement on the right side to create the details. Now here in the details, to making the product details actually keep on running and working, as first we have that best food company which is coming for directly. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller to see it proper way. Now here, this is kind of like a brand setup, right? So I'm going to just pop in those things, just you need to create, and it's very simple to go by. So that would be the similar thing for the product name and product description. As you can see, the product name and description, the first of all, as you can see, you can create a title component if you wanted to. Let me just check here. So now text 3XL, LG text 4XL, font bold, text for go from green and letting tight to go for the name, and other one is getting for the description as well. So right now, as we can see, after the description, we should be able to have the review setup. And for the review setup, we can also generate a particular segment. So I'm going to go and prefetch that so that you can have a proper understanding. Now, after that p tag for the description, we should have another component layer here. Now, you can either make it as a global component or keep it like that, as up to you, but it depends. You can make it a lot of good scenario as such. So first of all, if we just check right here, what we are doing, if we have the total reviews, right? Then if the review is bigger than 0, means we have the reviews, then we are putting the mark icon, which is going to be coming as the fill form. Otherwise, it's going to be just simple as that. Also, there will be the review name. If the review is only 1, then should be review. Otherwise, should be reviews. Like a multiple, I have 5 reviews, so it will not be 5 reviews, should be 5 reviews. And if it doesn't have the review, it's just getting the gray color and no reviews yet. The simple design structure. Like if you can follow through here, if you go and any kind of products which have a much more review right now, I'm going to see which one we can go and fetch. I think there will be some product which have the review. So many people are putting the reviews, but it need to go through the updating format. So that's why it's not appearing here. Maybe I'll update later on. So you can put your review, then we're gonna update that one too. So right now, maybe there is some pending, but when the review is there, the icon color and others should be changed, and it would be automatically be adapted. So this is the part for the review. Now this is gone by one of the segment. Then there should be another which is gonna be coming as, let's say, a pricing display. Okay, pricing, and I think I will make that as options section. Okay, so here all the pricing. So in the pricing, what we can see right now, if we go back to our where we have study here. So I'm going to go with the similar conception on that. Let me go back here. Now what it's going to be, you see the pricing ratio and save and stock. So entire structure going to be following through accordingly. So right now, what kind of segment we are talking about? There should be a div here, and then should be, let's say, I'm going to show the price display here first, and on the display should be another div here, and then should be coming a price view. Okay, so in the price view, we're maintaining the price segment, and the price should be display price, and also we're going to provide a discount amount value here. The discount amount should be product dot discount. So if the discount is there, it should be appearing here. And as you can see right now, after putting that, we have a discount value, which, because this is also we are using in the product card. So this is responsible to provide each and every single setup, each and every single segment, which can make this one looks more good. And here, as you can see, also we did it before. We didn't align that, like all the class names which we're providing that here. You see the flex, item center, gap 2, there is a plus, and there is the price formatter right here, right? So whatever the class name we are providing, we should be passing to that product formatter. So I'm going to just pass that. I'm going to use the CN right here. Then I'm going to passing this one, and then passing the class name. And the same here, there's the one price formatter, there is another price formatter here. So that should be also similar for it. I'm going to just cut that. I'm going to use the CN here. Okay, I think I cut too much. So it should be only this first portion here. So that should be, let's say, CN, and here gonna passing that, and then the class name. So right now, what is gonna happen once I provide the class name? Right now, as you can see, this is not much more bigger ratio. I'm going to make it smaller so that it can be side by side. You can see right now this looks good. So I'm going to also make it a little bit smaller. I will make it a little bit bigger, yeah, so that it can be side by side and you can easily understand the code. So right now I think you can be seeing that one too. So it's good. So now put a class name here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pass some class name to make it looks better. What I'm going to do that, the text should be 2XL, and I'm going to make the font as bold. So you see the default value is changed. We have a proper segmentation. And also, as at the top layer where we are providing the class name to make looks such a very good setup, which is going to be getting that space Y as a 4, and border T should be border bottom also should be 4, and instead of border T, border B, I think we can use the border Y. Is it working? You can use border Y. So that should be providing that border that should work in a very good syntax. The border gray of 200, padding Y, and the colors and others. Now after that div also we can provide that class name space Y. So space Y, because space Y should be 2. So within that property, whatever the component layer should be there, that also gonna be same segment. And this component gonna contain some of the more setup which gonna be coming. If the selected weight information is there, then the price for should be selected weight. Now this product has no weight. Okay, so we should better go to host a product which gonna have a proper weight and other value. So let me go back to our previous cabbage here, which is looking better because it's have the proper value. I'm gonna just copy that. I'm gonna just pass that property right here and getting the similar product here. So right now, as you can see, we are getting the price value. That's the selected price weight. You can see the price for 1.5 kg, and there's also price for 1.5 kg. That is the selected value. That's the minimal weight value we have. So now, as we have that, also we need to provide the base value here. right? We have the weight, so we are providing the base value. So let me product should be product. Okay, here, okay, I'm gonna make it as any right now. I don't want to make any counter interpolation. Okay, right now, as you can see, what is happening, the half kg price is 11 for 100 grams. Now, 1000 grams, like for 11 price for the, you can see right now, base price is $11 for 100 gram, 1000 grams, like 1 kilo. Now, half price is for that 5.55. This is for the half kilo, and there is the 10% discount on this. So we have that 4.95. You see the calculation, how correct and how much digging up there. So you need to understand, if you have a very good setup, you can go through it. Now I'm going to have that product options, and the options going to be like, say, it's going to be getting through the weight, size, etc. Now this product options going to be a very dynamic setup. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a product option setup, like separate component here. We create that, so tsx rafce. So here I'm going to pass that. That should be our product option. Now that product option is going to hold a lot of data. Again, if you, whenever you're going to get the code, I really recommend you that you should go through a proper alignment for that, because that's holding a lot of data layer. That's holding a lot of data. Now over here, what we are passing, you can see we're going to pass a lot of things right there. And if we talk about those things, you can see what we are passing. We're passing that has weights, either this one having weight or not. You can see, because our target is to create this kind of segment, and I believe it should be below that. Yeah, the product option should be not here, but below of it. Okay, let me just grab it. I think it should be below here. Yeah, that option's gonna be separate. Yeah, I select to the others, or I think we are in a good place, but maybe we did something wrong. So this is the space Y. I need to check some of the style which you provide. This is the space Y. Okay, cool. And this is the options. I think we're gonna also provide some of the classification. Yeah, maybe. Okay, I'm gonna keep it right now what it is, however it is. Okay, so this should not be a problem. Now we're providing if that product is has weights or not. Then, because weights and variance and size, entire thing is gonna be handled from it, not any other. A single component which will be responsible, either that will show the sizes, either that will show the weights, either that show has the variance. So everything gonna be maintained with a single component with proper setup, which can manage in a very apt manner. So this is how you can make it some dynamic way. The sizes, the colors, the base prices we providing, base weight we providing, discount, stock, initial weight, ID, on selection change, like whenever the selection change, how it's going to be selected. You see the display prices is changing, calculate prices happening, and whenever weight is changing, you see how the value props is as making change, and also the set weight information coming with the display. So now we will go back to our property layer right here, especially here in that product options. Now for the product options, of course, the data layer would be a little bit we need to dig down a bit more here. So on the options, everything gonna be coming as a props property. So I'm gonna just define so many types here. I now here, not only the interface, you can also define the types like that. Type weight is equal to, you can also do by that. So now I have the weight value, I have the size value, and then I have the color value. Again, those coming from global types under the product, you know, it's right there. Then the interface is getting entire props property, what kind of things we are going to receive or we can be received from there. So right now, this is our, let's say, props. We're getting has weights, so all the details which we are passing from there. So right now, what we need to do, we will initialize some more setup to make it more better. Again, what I'm recommending you need to study a bit, like whatever I'm dumping right now. This is very important, and if you have any problem to understand, let me know in the comments, because there is a lot of things to cover. First of all, let's talk about these effects. And again, as a separate component, maybe we can use it somewhere else, and then we can pass it as the use client flag. And of course, we need to get not the React use effect. We're going to get directly use effect from the React. And here as the temporary, we don't want to interrupt in base file, we'll just keep it like that. Now, what do you want? You see, we have the select weight, set selected weight, because whenever we're gonna click, you can see we change the weights, and if the price is changing, we select that, you see how the price is changing dynamically. So that's the also price and the price for these two values are changing. So that's, so we need to manage it in this state particularly. So in this effect, we are passing that the size, weight and color, and for the initial weight, and we're setting up the initial weight whenever the component is mounting. Also, we're getting the calculated price for weight. So it depends, whenever the weight is changing, we are just getting the weight grains into weight numeric values, and then we're getting the price with the price ratio. Also happen to handle weight select, which gonna be called letter, handle size select, which gonna be called letter, handle color select, by which function it's gonna handle all the colors value and others, and then the filter view for the active colors options. And if there is no weights and no hash variance, should be returned null. So that's the one value. And also we're gonna pass that, if we're gonna pass three condition here, right? If in this entire notation, if we doesn't have a weight dot length if the weight is length is 0, or the size is 0, active colors is 0, you return nothing. But we have, you see, we still returning the product option, right? So means we have something. For right now, what I'm gonna do, first of all, I'm gonna make it a class name space space y. Let's say I'm going to provide a 6 value here. Border t would be there, border t, you see the border, and border gray of, let's say 200. Now 3 should be 200. You see, now it looks good. And here I'm going to make the padding top of padding top of 6. So now it's getting the proper structure. Now after that, first of all, I'm going to provide that weight option, right? Weight options. Weight options. In the options, I'm going to provide if it has the has weights, not like that, has weights. So if we have the weights, and also if the active weight, so whatever the active parameter is, that dot, if the length is bigger than 0, only then we are going to render. Otherwise, we don't want to render it. So that's pretty simple and straightforward. We're going to have a div here, and then we're going to have a label here. So label, okay, label here, and the label we doesn't have that label. Okay, no worries. So we can just simply grab that pnpm dlx add, let's say I'm going to add the label. That's it. So we're going to have a label directly from there, and of course all the setup is done beforehand, so we can now simply go through that to install the Session component and others. If you doesn't have yet, go back to the previous video, and then or in the this first and forward, and you can see there is the layer. So it will be the label here. You see, we can just grab the label, and within the label it can just simply pass that select, let's say weight. And on that weight, if there is no, like if there is no stock, okay, because the stock value can be changed, right? If there is no stock, or if the stock is equal to, because if it doesn't have the stock, there is no use to sell, right? So there will be something, otherwise it will be something. If there is like no stock, we want to pass the message which going to be, let's say, out of stock. Okay, so right now we have property. So you see, select weight, and here if there is like if we just want to pass that like that, you see out of stock button is right showing there. So it depends if the product is getting out of stock. Okay, right now what I'm gonna do for this div itself here, it's gonna be let's say class name, and the space y should be, let's say I'm gonna put it as 3 to make it look nicer. Class name, and the text should be, I'm gonna make it a base text. Font should be semi bold, and also text should be go from black. That's it. And after the label, we also need to generate a lot of other things. So what I'm this is just some of that crucial data which you can now enable on that. I'm going to also get the check icon here from the Lucid React, and I'm going to get the CN here from the utils. That's it. So now what actually is happening, let me go check. Okay, yeah, very good. So what is happening right now, you can see did it not getting that selected one? Okay, okay, it's something is mismatching. Anyway, we can fix that as well. Okay, so right now what is happening, we are providing, as you can see, if has weights, and also the active weight length is right there. Only then we are actually making to make it much more better and proficient. And to do the proper weightings, so we have that if we have the active weights, then we are mapping to it, and from there we're getting the weight price, we're getting the is out of stock. This all are combination to get the proper data layer. And also the format display weight, we are formatting with that whatever the weight we are going to display, and then also the weight name, numeric value, and others to make it much more nicer, because this doesn't know how many. You see the price how it's changing, you see the every time we change, these are the layer to maintain on that. Now for the button layer, we have the if is out of stock or handle with select, we are passing that id. Then if out is out of stock, the button would be visible, and there is some color to make it looks nicer and better. Then the display value, if we just remove that, you can see the display value is actually the weight value right here. Then we are also providing the price value right here, so this is the price value combination. And then the check, so in the check, selected weight is equal to weight.id, then we are providing that. But I don't know why this is not getting selected. I think this is something maybe it can be paramount on that at the top layer of data where we are initially mounting to. Let me just check, this should not happen, because selected weight must be setting whenever other component is mount. So here we have handle, let me set calculate for weight. Where is that? Yeah, this is the one. I think there we are missing something. No, we are okay. Okay, is this way to be? No. So initial weight id, of course we can find that later on, because I'm going to come back to it. First of all, let us go to fix the other parameter, which can be cool. And to do that, let us go, this is the weights value is done. So if we go directly here, this is the parameter where the has weights parameter can be done. And the similar way, we are also happen to have the size, color variant, and also the option summary. So I'm going to pull that all of it. So this is the layer. I'm going to just first of all get all the input. This is the, we need the badges, and then what else we are requiring, any other more component. I think there would be some midweight. Okay, that doesn't have a problem. Okay, right now this is much we're gonna have. We have the label for the size. So whenever the has variant sizes there, the active sizes of length, providing the active size directly from here, we can select the size from there. And if the active size similar way, the similar compartment is selecting the size, and then the price is changing. And also the has variant color, if the colors is there, is selecting the colors. And as well, if also the option summary, like your selection option parameter there, then is providing that data layer, whatever the value you see, selection 1 kg, and it's going to returning that data, right? So this is how the segment can be done. Now if we go there, of course there is so many other setup which we need to understand in a pretty decent manner. Now I want to go directly here. I think something may be missing, I don't know yet, should not be, because everything we dropped just as it is, but something we are mismatching. Okay, it's mismatching because of the typo. Yeah, the typo is there. Anyway, so it's completely done, no problem for that. So now as we have that product option, also after that below of it, we also gonna have another property which gonna be enhanced, enhanced stock status, right? And this status gonna take a div layer here, then it's gonna be taking a badge. On the badge, it's gonna have a particular layer. Like in the badge, we're gonna show some data layer. If product is out of stock, it's gonna show out of stock. The similar setup is showing here. You see out of stock and say that much amount. So if it's out of stock, gonna out of stock. If that, if has the value, so it's gonna maintain the ratio how we can show the stock data available or not. And for the badge, you're gonna have a proper class name to show the stock property done in a proper way. And also gonna provide the flex, item should be center, gap should be, because it can be multiple parameter can be there, then it can be put in that opt manner. After the badge, there would be a simple discount information here, like after below that div particularly, we're gonna have an information tab, the 10% save on this item. So how many like the save discount, whatever the discount percentage as we are providing, that should be showing there. Now this is the layer which is looks decent and it's kind of decent. Now here there is another parameter, right? And if we go here, as you can see, we have the description, we have the official information, we have the other setup, and as you can see, we have the characteristics, we have the quantity and others. We will get those things done. So first of all, after that segment, what we have that quantity and subtotal. And when it's gonna happen, when if we doesn't add it to the account, we have that add to cart button and the other button, right? So what I'm gonna do after that div here, after the div, we're gonna have another button for, let's say, called action buttons. Okay, on the action buttons, we're gonna have everything. We're gonna wrap with the product animation wrapper, which gonna be cool because if there is recur animation, it's gonna be do it by itself. So I'm gonna make that let's say add to cart. Okay, add to cart button here, and after add to cart button should be, let's say, a favorite button as well, or favorite button, or let me see the icon if it's okay, fine. Then in the favorite in the add to cart button, we will provide a multiple segment. First of all, it's gonna go take that our, let's say, if the product is add to cart or not. I think this is working. This is working. Okay, no, it's not working. This is not the favorite button. We need to create a favorite button, which it doesn't have. So that should be tsx rafce. That should be our favorite button. And instead of the icon should not be there, should be the button. Okay, now we have the button. Now for that both instances, we can simply pass that flex. Item can be make center, gap should be, let's say, 2.5, and LG gap would be simple as 5, like the double gap. And here we're going to provide the delay. Let's say, okay, this is the product animation wrapper. This should be product action wrapper. Okay, not animation. That's the action wrapper is there, because every wrapper, okay, product action wrapper, and that one has the delay, which going to be 0.3. So 300 millisecond delay there. You see, now it's coming. Now for the favorite button, you're going to work around on that. And if we add to cart, you see, that's just working. And for the favorite button, we also need to provide a certain kind of segment here again. Now you know how to design it properly. You can use the freedom to make design as the way you are looking forward to. But I'm going to just popping those things up, and I'm going to explain to you, of course, that how we are actually looking forward. You see the breadcrumb link at the store and others, everything going to be coming by. There's a lot of things to cover. First of all, we have the product, and then it's going to be coming from the types, it's going to be coming from the query. Also, you need to check if that product is happen to be in the store or not. Also, then says existing item, which can, the error can be just going to be disabled for right now, and it will not be a problem. And also the breadcrumb link right here, if there is show product. Okay, right now if we click, okay, it's showing. If we remove, now what is actually happening? First of all, as you can see on that particular instances for the favorite button, we are passing show product true, means it will show product, and then product gonna be just getting our product. Now here in the favorite button, we're making the use client, and then we are getting the props right from here. Then also you're checking is favorite or add favorite. We're getting the use card store here. All the favorite segment is right here, which is previously we have been done. So all the favorite structure is right there, and from the instances we are checking if that one is added to the favorite. You know, the color should be, you can see once we are just passing that, even we are coming second time, you see that is highlighted. So that's the way we are maintaining that. Then now in handle favorite, it's gonna do two tags. If the product, there is a product, is gonna be, if it's removing means it's existing one. Add to favorite is gonna adding or and saying the removing favorite. That's the two simple things it's doing. If the show product is there, like whenever it's coming as true, if it's passing that, you see there is that. So we can simply use the same thing at the top. So the same button at the top, as you can see right here, whatever the button we are showing, that's the similar button we are showing. Right now it's showing because the condition, if we want to pass that show product as false, you can see right now, whenever the show product is false, that value is coming, right? So otherwise we just making a plain heart icon and providing the color and others. Now you see the fill colors. Fill colors, we can simply get the colors from, let's say, global to CSS, and here we have the color. Let's say go from gray or go from light green. We can put the light green if you wanted to. Now if the existing product is there, it will be simple like that. Now if I want to click on that, it's match, it's good. So you can change in a very tiny compartment later if you wanted to. So now we have the product content layer, we have the action button, and after that we also should be happen to have a product characteristic should be. And this is also a very much impromptu design, because it's gonna be simply working as an accordion. So I'm gonna just I'm gonna drop that one as well so that you can have a better understanding on that. Now, this is just some of that design a compartment where you can excel, you can make things looks better, right? Because you see, we doesn't have the accordion, so we need to install accordion. First, I'm gonna get that result and others, band query result. Okay, fine. I'm gonna open the terminal, pnpm dlsx, and should be accordion. Okay. Now, when it's installing, what actually is happening under the hood? First, we're gonna check in the live. You can see once we click, it's expanding the mode, brand, collection, type, stock. If we just click, it's getting it at the beginning layer to closing it. So this is how the accordion is functioning. And to get that, we also need to import the accordion, and also we need to, what else we need to do? Okay, now accordion, we got the accordion. Now, what is happening in the accordion is that we are passing a product and the brand, because these two character, because in the product, as you can see right now over here in the, okay, it's still not there. So in the product, we have the brand, collection, type, stock. Now you can just simply pass that for value instead of passing the product. For me, I just pass it, but for you, you can maintain not to pass the entire dilemma right over there. So now we can simply get the accordion. As you can see in the accordion, we're showing the things. How we're showing that is the correct way to answer on that. We have the product name. We are passing that the product name. If we have the survey cabbage characteristics in accordion content, we are passing the brand, providing the first the brand, then providing the brand name, collection, providing the collection type, then the stock, providing the stock and other values. So this is how it's a pretty simple structure to follow and to create, but looks good in the design segment. Now, after that accordion segment, we also gonna happen to have some of the more action link. What kind of action links? You see right here, we have compare product, ask question. If you click on ask question, it will or the delivery return or the share, you see how those things can work. So this is the segment which going to be make things done in a better way. So after the product action wrapper, so when the action wrapper is done, we should happen to have that action button link. So I'm going to get that share if I, okay, there also we are maintaining, oh, there is no share icon in that. I think there is for the Lucid React. Why we need to use the other one? So only the button here. I think we're gonna grab that track icon from Lucid React, and let's say FAQ. Okay, let's say favorite button, or we can simply, or I think it's better to, because there you can also use that like, why it doesn't have Lucid React icons. Let's say FAQ. No, it's nothing. I think we can simply use that clock fading. Okay, that's it. And arrow right, arrow left, right. Okay, anyway. Okay, right now, if we go directly here, as you can see, we have some particular button layer here. For the arrow compare product, it's not looks good, because we should have to set up things arrow. So we should have to have the multiple arrow left, right. So that's gonna be good one. Arrow left, right. So should be, let me go and check, should be arrow left, right. Yes. Now if you go here, You can see it's going to add it to the compare. It's going to ask the question. It's going to click the share. We didn't have that compartment created yet, so it will not show. Now, what kind of things is happening in the action tab? First of all, in the action, this is the div, which is containing everything. Now, the first button here, which is making the setup for the comparison. I think you can now, you know how to get the actual product, right? You can make the things. You can put that like you can pass that any kind of setup the way you want. So there's nothing to be worried for that. Now over here, what actually you are getting, we're passing that at compare setup, you know, which gonna be make that, and there is a like whenever at compare is there, if it's there in at compare, just changing the color. The same way ask question gonna leading nowhere, and also the delivery return leading nowhere. You can now make that for the product share is opening the share opening the share formula or share compartment, which we will create later on. Right now, we doesn't have any share opportunity to go and pass us by. Now, after the so this is the action tab, which gonna maintain everything. So after the action tab, we also gonna have to have that delivery information, and this is just now. This is just a static design right here to maintain a proper flow. So corner down left, what is that icon? Let's say corner down left. Okay, I think we can find an icon for that. Let's say, yeah, that's the one, corner down left. I think the icon can get from the side React and it'd be good. You see, we have free delivery. We have the return delivery. Just information, you click on that, you check it now. I think both a parameter, it's just coming in static. You can now link your pages, whatever you want to show it is up to you. But there is the room to make it more the legend. So especially right here, I think go from, no, border. I'm going to make border. That's it. That would be good instead of pulling that. So just pulling that border color, default border color. So this is just an action information. So right now you're going to have a proper structurized view. Okay, so now you can have the details. Okay, we can also make the details right now. I'm going to just pop in the details as well, which can, because the description, now you can put some dummy description, or you can get the actual, you see, description we are showing. This is the design if you want to go and capture. This up to you if you want to do it, but this is not that, because this structural layer is just a dummy data to make the design better. Now you can do it yourself within the compartment layer the way you wanna show your creativity. But what I really want to do it, you might also be like setup, which gonna be the real deal, which are gonna be actual set of data, so that it can be go and a proper segment as well. So what I'm gonna do after that, after finishing, before finishing the container, I'm gonna just get that wrapper, which gonna be passing that our product session component wrapper and related products. Okay, do you have that related products? I think I don't have. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create another .tsx rfce should be related products, and here let us just let us just import it, the related products. So now we should be able to see the related products data right here. But right now we have nothing to show because we didn't create anything. But we're passing the props right here. We're passing the current product. I think this one should take that. So I don't know why it's showing the error. Okay, product select query. I think the way we define the type here, that is the problem. So you see the product, I think we can just simply pass the product. Yeah, so you can change that. You can change and redirect in a different way to modify if you can do it, or use those types, or you can generate is PNPM like type gen automatically generate. Then we have the created products, right? So now in the related products segment here, we're gonna have a two property to interface here. That should be one should be coming for the related props, and yeah, now we can, I think here we can get that. Yes, yeah, okay. So now we have two related product, which is going to be the current products or related products. Then we're going to just simply grab that as a type property value. And you can see still you're getting error. I think, let me just grab it. I think something wrong here. Okay, anyway, we can fix later. So now we have to set up, one is the current product, one is the related product, right? So now what I'm going to do, because if that product is included related, that should not be shown, right? Because we don't want to see the same product in the related product as well. So this is the where gonna actionable things gonna be done. If there is no related products, the related product element is 0, gonna be returned null. And also now we're gonna show the proper message, put a class name. I'm gonna make it a my of 20, or you can make a padding y of 20, providing the proper padding or proper margin in better way. So right now we're gonna have a div here which gonna contain the things to be the title and others. You might also be like, you can see this is the setup which we're talking about. And here we're providing the title and the description, that similar products from the same category. So now we're going to create, after that, the div. We're going to create another div. We're going to make that related products dot map. And by default, we're going to take everything as a product, which is going to be typed as the product. And after that, from this scenario, we're going to simply return over here, or instead of that return, we're going to return within an array prop, like the return value property. And let's say I'm going to provide, it's going to return a card here, and within the card, let's say a p tag hello. Okay, for right now, you see we have 4 type which saying hello, and of course we need to provide that key, right? The key should be product dot underscore id. You see, it always gone. So now we should be getting some more things, the image URL, product property, everything we need to fetch from here. Because as you can see, we can get that image URL, we're going to destructurize the original price, and is in stock or not, we can prefetch according to it. So right now, for the card which we are using here, we can also provide some of the class name which will make the groups, overshadow, and so many other things. Now what I'm going to do, instead of that p tag should be happen to have a card content, right? In the card content, we're going to have, let's say you're going to pass that product image. So that's going to holding the product image. Now, there is one thing which we are missing. As you can see, we're mapping right here, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it as a grid. Grid column should be 1. And then I'm going to make that smaller screen, grid call should be 2. And for the LG screen, grid call should be 4. And I'm going to put a gap of 6. That's it. Okay. LG should be, let's say, cost of 4. So you can see right now we have 4 grid of image, and I'm gonna pass that, let's say, border 2, and I'm gonna make that border as border. Yeah, by default looks great. So now in the card content, we first gonna generate, now you can create a separate compartment to show that, but for me it's gonna working perfectly fine. No need to make a lot of other things, which can be absolutely fine. So here I'm gonna get a div here where I'm gonna show the actual image, right? So in the image going to be imported from the next image, gonna be a fill image, right? Now here you can see I need to provide a class name here. I'm going to provide, let's say, this image also going to be get the proper classes, and the classes should be coming as such. Okay, what I did wrong. Okay, I think I will just simply grab, or you can simply type it. Let me see. Yeah. So what we're doing, we're making it relative. Expect is the square, and expect square means that 1 by 1 and MB4 and overflow and others. This is just, you can explore the product card and you will have a better idea. Right now, after that, we also gonna generating lots of property which gonna containing other value. Like so, if we gonna see here, we're gonna passing that our add to cart button, and also as well as other details, gonna be the link value to go directly on that particular page. We also have that favorite button, the same button which we are using. We have the badge to show the easy stock property, and like so. Okay, star icon is right there. Where? Star icon, yeah, here for the. Okay, now if we go back here, as you can see, okay, what is the issue here? Class name, I think it will disappear. Okay, something is not matching. Anyway, it can be. Now for these purposes also, okay, let me, before explaining, I'm going to finish that setup. I'm going to also pass that. Okay, let me just grab that button to show the view more button, okay, which gonna lead to us our proper segment. Right now, what happened? We have like the product setup. I think the similar design we created, right? So yeah, looks good. So in the product setup, you have the add to cart. So here we can similar of the product card layer, which we are implementing beforehand. Now we have the content layer here. We are showcasing the image, which the image we have. After that, we have our, let's say the current, we have the product name, we have this star icon we are showing the original price, and then add to cart. So this is the way we are combining the setup to go and passing that. I think if you still, okay, server didn't match the client, it's just to be, okay, in compare list or not, is the product contain, okay? How come it's in the product content? Okay, so in the product content, okay, this is the product corner, right? Okay, if we just remove that related products, is it there? No, it's just coming to be from the related products. If we reload, yeah, it's there. So if we go in the related product, I want to see if the current product, okay, in the related product, if we highlight something, I want to, now how we can make a debug on that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to see the product information. I'm going to just remove that. Okay, that's removed. Okay, good. So now here is the product link. I'm gonna just try to remove a comment on that. Okay, now it's still there, so means not from here. I can simply go and make this one disappear. Let me just check. Okay, it's not from here. And then the pricing accordingly. Let's see. I think it's not from anywhere. It's just from the caching or something, because this data should not be appearing like that. Okay, this is just from the caching. Okay, so this is how you can design. So now we have a lot of things to be covered, not only that things, because we have now need to design the product page and others, and we're gonna do it. As we're going to create the product page, I want you to remember we have two particular segments. One is getting for the shop page, where we have all the filters set up, which is gonna working like, you know, you can get with the categories, brands and others, you can make the filter. And there is, once you click on the product and come back to that product and click on that particular product list, you can see I really like this filter setup, because you can either hide it, you can pretty much decent way, and also you can see different structure ratio. You can go with the low to high, and you see how beautifully it's structurized. This is the one which I really like, and you can filter like that, you can remove like that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create that particular product page. Now if you want, you can create a shop page, that's up to you. I'm not saying you can't, but almost the code structure gonna be similar. So now we have the product page, and we're going to align to start doing the setup right here. Now, first of all, how we're going to get the product, because there will be a lot of other product going to be there. And I'm going to show you there is a very simple and strategic way to call like 1, 2, 3 setup. Like as you can see right here, we have the categories, we have the brands, we have the product. So we have 3 calls in this particular page, and those 3 calls gonna be in that server side, not in client side. As you can see right now, there will be in client side. Also, whenever I'm gonna filtering that, you can see this is client side, but when you can see right here, I make the pagination, the data is loading. This is all our rendering from the server side. You can, now there is up to you. You can go through the pagination, paginated data. You can create the client side library and go with that. So first of all, how we can start? Very simple. Here, we're going to make it as an asynchronous function, because we're going to call to our database. And over here, we're going to get the 3 things which going to be coming await, and it will be coming as a promise, which going to resolve the all, like the entire promise. Now, there would be the fetch method, what we're gonna want to fetch. Now, what kind of things we want to adopt? So that's really tricky to understand. We're going to get our products from there. We're going to get our categories from there. Let's say categories. We're going to get our brands from there. And how are we going to get? We need to pass the function to grab all of those things. So first of all, we're going to make that get all products, which are going to be coming to grab the entire product data. We're going to get that get categories. So the category is going to be returning our entire categories data. Get all brands, not the blogs, but the, let's say, all brands. Now, these three functions going to be responsible to get three layer of data. Of course, you can make console.log, and now you can see, let's say I'm going to get the products, I'm going to get that categories, I'm going to get that brands. So that's it. And now here, if I just inspect on it, you can console through it, and you can see we have three layer of the data, which is perfectly aligned and looks pretty good. Now, one thing which we're doing right here, this is a trickery for you. Now, we are calling entire data, like we have around 34, like 43 products. We're calling all the products together, right? Now, how you can control that? Like you will get the 20 products from the server side. Then once the pagination is gonna happen, it will get another the rest page, and that page gonna call in server side, client side, because whenever you're gonna click, need to be client side interactivity. Of course, in the latest code, like in the build, there will be an update. Like whenever you're watching, or maybe the next part of it, you're gonna see that code is perfectly aligned, and that will be available in that purchased one, the latest one. Of course, you can just get it from here. Now, this is a very trickery for you. I want you can, if you try, if you can do it. If you cannot, let me know in the comments. I will show you how you can do that. Now I have the products, so as I have, I can now go start working on that div. So it should be, let's say, bj. I'm going to provide a linear bj to from to bottom. Okay, now on that particular instances, I'm going to make that from gray 50, let's say gray 50, to white, let's say should be to white, and I'm going to make that one as min height should be screen. Okay, so now this is the classical data layer. Now after that, we're going to have a three segment. There will be a hero sections, right? So the hero section, for the hero section, of course, I want to take another div here, and on the div I'm going to have a container from our container components. You can see this is the div layer, because the entire div gonna have a very good background. Then the container gonna hosting those. You see 43 plus products, 8 categories, advanced filters. So this is a kind of data layer which are really explaining everything. Here put a class name. bj should be linear from r to I think linear to right, and that should be, I'm gonna provide that from go from, let's say, green, and two, that should be go from light green. So that would be the data structure. Right now we doesn't have any content here, so it will not apporting to make that. I'm going to have another div here. On the div, I'm going to pass that another div portion. So this should be a 2 div layer structure, where we're going to just import the breadcrumb here. So as you can see, you already did the breadcrumb facilities, so you know how to go and combine that. And we're going to import that. Let's say there would be that breadcrumb scenario, which is going to be everything going to be popping up from our UI. So I'm going to just grab that. So it should be our breadcrumbs item, link, list, and everything. So right now, as you can see over here, I'm going to make that div one. Let put a classical example to how to combine on that. So this is the div here. I'm going to provide a class name on it. Put a class name. Let's say padding y should be 16, and also I'm going to make the text should be, let's say, white. That's it. So it's going to go and very good text combination here. It's the same thing, same formulation. And after that, and the margin bottom should be 6 on it. Now what actually is happening, we're showing our breadcrumb. Now we're not showing the dynamic breadcrumb. This breadcrumb also you can use like that way. Now how you can use the dynamic breadcrumb? If I try dynamic, can we do that? Of course we can do that here. Now you can try again. I'm keeping the room so you can flourish to learn, right? So if I go with that, let's say dynamic breadcrumbs, and if I pass that, you can see we get that home. But right now, whenever we use previous dynamic breadcrumb in the single slide, you can now find the tuning to how to grab and make the proper data structure. That you can do it. I believe on you. So now right now, after the div, we can have another div here, and that div gonna be containing one more div parameter that are gonna have a package icon. So in the package, after that, gonna be a title parameter. Let's say title. In the title, we're going to have that, let's say product catalog. Hello, G. Okay. You see the product catalog, and we need to make this looks little nice and better. And over here, put a class name. Let's say max width should be 3 axle for that instances. Put a class name should be flex. Item should be center, and gap should be 3. And also, I'm going to provide a margin bottom of 4. And again, it doesn't matter how I'm coding. It's just a style a bit, so you can style your own to make it more sophisticated, more flexible, the way you feel it better. So now this is my product catalog. After the product catalog, there will be a p tag here after that particular div here to show you discover our complete collection of premium products from cutting edge electronics to stylish accessories. Find everything you need in one place. Now you can modify the p tag as per you need. Now we will provide the stats. So after the p tag here, I'm going to take another div here, and on the div particularly there should be all the data layer. Like let me just grab you to show you what kind of things it will be appearing right here. You can see over here we are providing a div here. In the div we are putting the package icon over here, just making a little bit design to make it looks better. Then providing a p tag, we're providing the products length to show how many products we are happen to have. Then the premium quality item, and of course we are going to make another item, so there should be 2 more item here which gonna be combining together to make things pretty decent way. So after that, so this is the one div, then should be another 2 div, which gonna be one should be happen to have the search icon, and another is gonna have to have the filter icon. Looks cool. So now you can see 43 products, 8 categories, advanced filters, which just looks good. Now for that instances, you're gonna make it responsive, of course, which gonna be looks cool and better. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make it as a grid, and grid column should be by default 1, and whenever you're gonna hit an empty screen, grid column should be, let's say, 3. And also I'm going to provide a gap which going to be as 6. So now you can see this could be the adhere mechanism, and also looks pretty decent, right? Now after that, this is the div which we are talking about. So now we finish the container here, because now this is the summary which we created. Now also I think the search also working. You can see tomato, you can see the search, you can getting the tomato juice. So all the things is perfectly aligned. Now we need to start working on that. So after the div, we're gonna just go through, create the main content, and again, everything, all the code structure, everything is there with you. So feel free to go and structurize, just clone the repo and start building right now. Now over here, we're going to have that. I will use that suspense to go and make some room to create the fallback structure, because whenever we're going to coming back, let me just go right here. I'm going to go back to home. I'm going to make a reload here. Then let's go back there. You can see there is an skeleton like fallback property going to be passing by, even very minor, because it's already code is getting a store in the data structure, so we may not be that much, but it is there. Okay, so now that's fallback going to be running, the suspense going to be running here, and after that, whenever the suspense is going to be disappear, you can see there's just a like a skeleton property view right here. Then we're going to create a product catalog, right? So catalog, so that would be our actual product data layer, where we're going to show every single product, and of course that would be the client side where you can call the pagination as well. That's what I was saying to you. So right now, if I go in that UI, let me go in the components. I'm going to just create a new file here, and okay, what I'm doing okay, should be okay, I just remove from here, should be this one which I need to copy. So that should be .tsx or a fce. That should be our product catalog. So now I'm going to call our product catalog here. So import it. And in the product catalog, we're going to pass some of the data layer. We're going to pass the products data. You can see it can go like that. Initial products, which is going to be our products. We're going to pass the categories. We're going to pass the brands, because now we can go through to filter those data particularly. So we got the catalog. So this is the things which we're gonna take to show all the products data and others. And there should be some more. As you can see, you can find what you're looking like a CTS section here, which is gonna be coming after that parameter, like after the suspense boundary. You can see the container here. So we can now make those things. I'm gonna just pass the CTO, the bottom section of it. Now, of course, I'm gonna explain to you what actually we're doing. We're gonna provide the arrow right here, and then That's it. So now in the city section, what is actually meaning to make that, you can see right now is can't find, okay, that should be here. Can find what you're looking for. Our customer support team is here to help you find. So if you click on that, now you can redirect to the contact page to go to make a proper client-side interactivity over here. And border T, I'm going to make that border T as a border. So border. So get the proper border color. Now let us go back directly on that product catalog, which is going to be the one of the most important parameter of that page. So the padding Y, I'm going to provide a default padding Y of 10 to make much more room for it. Now I'm going to go directly in the catalog, which is going to entertain a lot of other parameter. First of all, I'm going to take the scenario how the things going to be like. Now there would be an interface property again, that should be an use client because I'm going to use a lot of client side property here. Now this is the props which are going to be coming directly from the product, getting from the category, and also get that like the query result here to get that initial products, categories, brands, and the sort options right here. Now after that, we also gonna grab everything from there, like it's gonna be coming from our props, and in the props what we're receiving the initial products, we are receiving the categories, we are receiving our brands. So this is the three things which we are receiving directly from there. Right now we need to provide some of that data layer instances which can make the status scenario, because right now as you can see, even we're calling the product, because we are like whenever the click is happen, this is happening in the server side, we can't click in our click is happening in the client side, we can't click in the server side to make the interactive things, right? So right now as we cleaning in the server client side, we need to use the client side interactivity. So first I'm going to import that one right here. I think this March 8, we're just using the users.ho. Now we're using the products to grab the, now right now this is the initial products, here is the catch. Initially you can get, now I'm gonna pass you what you can build. Initially you can pass only 24 products, which is perfectly fine for fast pagination, or you can make it 20. Now you can call the function here in the client side, like someone is not making the pagination, no need to call the entire data. When they make the pagination, you call the data. So that's because why I don't do it, because here is full pagination data is created. Like whenever you're gonna go, you can see the product is already loaded pretty fine, faster. That's why it's not be seen here. So you can do this scenario. And then also we have the categories. Now we're providing the selected categories by default, getting empty, search there, brands there, price range is there, sorted by set view modes, so filters, and set like is filter open or not, is passing that category true, brand true, price true. It means whenever I'm going to make open the filter, those value is going to be true and those can be false, and you see the product gonna be changed according to it, and even those can call the filter accordingly. So this is how the things can be done. So right now this will be our setup. So first of all, we're gonna go to make some more room for that. We're gonna calculate the price range for our product layer. So that should be our maximum price range. We're gonna use the use memo to memorize that. So that would be our max price, which we're gonna use that. You see this, the 1000 we are saving. Now you can get from the product prices to get the max value. Of course, as you can see, we're just getting the prices, spreading the prices value here, and then you can do the other scenario. And after that, we also gonna have to have the filter and sort products, which also we're gonna using the use memo option here, which is gonna make all okay, let me just grab, I think I need to grab other parameter because it's not only single, there's a lot of other things. So right now here what we are doing right now is that this is the filters product section where we are filtering, just spreading all the products we're passing there. If we have the search query, we are just filtering, like we're not calling the API. For this one, as you know, we're not making the pagination. So we are just calling from whatever the products we have. We are filtering from it according to it and using the use memo property. We're filtering the category, we're filtering the brand, we're filtering the price, sorting the products according to the name, ascending, descending, price low, high, newest. So this is what actually happening once we click those scenario. So now you have the idea, and that's the dependency array which we are passing. Again, it may be looks a little bit like shaky, but this is very good way to build whenever you are doing this kind of working scenario. Of course, there would be all the receipt filters, and this function is going to be responsible receiving the entire filters. It's going to make the search query as an empty, categories if there is selected empty. Like this, when it will work, if I click multiple segments, you see the clear all, once you click, everything going to be as an empty. I'm going to click the vegetables, then I'm going to search, let's say I'm going to search broccoli. You see there is search broccoli, vegetables, so I can just click everything and it's going to just remove all the way together. Then of course there should be another property, get active filter count, which going to be providing the value of the filter value. You see 1 2 3 4 value we're showing. So if the search query, we're providing the selected categories, selected brands, and simply also the handle category toggle button also, which gonna toggling our category segment. Now after that, there should be another portion is which is going to be handle brand toggle. So this would be the brand toggle, which is going to be toggling our entire brand. This is the one. This is the for the brands. This is for the categories, and this is for the filters, which is going to be closing. That the same thing. It's going to be opening and closing, similar structure. Okay, let us go back to our, and this is, you see the shrinking is that because if you just make it a little bit bigger, it's going to be get some room to flourish on that. Now our time to populate the data. First of all, how are we going to do? We're going to put a class name over here, and then we're going to make that space. Let's say space y should be 6 accordingly. I'm going to make it as a global scale. Now after that, we're going to have, let's say you're going to have that search and filter bar. Okay, filter bar. That should be the parameter where we're going to keep that. I'm going to take a div, and there is going to be another div. Here it's going to have the search, then it's going to take a div, and then it's going to have the search key from Lucid React, and also it's going to have the input, and we're going to get that input from, right now it doesn't have the input in the chat ChatGN, so we can just simply get that pnpm dlsx, and then it's dlx. It should be, let's say I'm going to just get the input value here. So this is how you can simply grab it. Now oh sorry, not like that. Should be closing cd web, and then I need to run that command input, because my project is in the root, because later on we're going to have that our application, mobile application and others, so we need to keep that room for it. So right now, let's minimize that. I will just import the input from there. So right now we have the input, you can see, but not look so nice, but we're going to make it looks nice. For the class name, bj should be white, and here we can make that setup for that going to be rounded LG, and I'm going to make that a border. Border should be SM, padding should be 6, just to give the room. You can see right now looks good. And the border color should be border. Let's say I'm going to pass the border as the border. No, the border, and border should be the border color. Okay, looks good. And for this div here, also gonna be class name should be flex column it by default, and in LG devices should be flex row, and also I'm gonna make the gap should be 4, item should be start, LG should be item should be center, and justify should be between. So gonna be pushing that together. Now this div here with a class name, I'm gonna make it as relative, so relative. And here flex one gonna be taking, so it will take entire space, and it's gonna take that max, let's say max width going to be, I'm gonna make it MD. Okay, right now we have that portion, you can see, but not the way it's supposed to be to pushing that. So now why is not getting flex property? Even we make, okay, we need to put flex then flex one, otherwise it's not getting. Okay, for the search bar, for the search button here, I'm going to make it as an absolute proportioning here, or I think we don't need to have that flex. We're going to just make it an absolute proportion using absolute left 3, top 3, because this is the relative, so it's just setting it right here in the proper parameter. And for the input property here, we're going to simply pass the placeholder. So the placeholder going to be search, let's say search products. And on that placeholder thing, I'm gonna, let me get that value should be, let's say search query. And after that, on change property here, gonna be running a simple functional props, set search query, gonna be, let's say e.target.value. Not the validation, should be value. And after that, it's gonna be class name, padding left should be 10. That's it. So now you can see we have the typing value. If we just type right now, you can type and it will be there. Now you can, instead of whenever the value is there, you can just click one, let's say you can make a close button, like instead of the search button you can make it as a close button, then you can do it. So that's how you can, get, like, if like similar like that. If we have that, let's say we have the search query, then it's gonna have something, otherwise it's gonna have something. Right now if we have the search query, we want to make that a X button, right? So now you can see this is X button, and here once we click on, let's say on click, what it's gonna do, it's gonna make that set search query, set search query gonna be empty. Now if we click on that, you see it's done. And also we can simply make that, let's say, hover cursor, cursor pointer. Okay, so now if we search something and if we click on that, you see that's gone. That's how you can make more interactive value props in the build. So this is our search setup. So this is going to be creating the search proposition here. So after the search segment, after this parameter here, I'm gonna happen to have another div. And first of all, in the div, first one is gonna be coming as a sort property, which gonna be this one. So the sort value gonna be aligned it together. Now how we can do that things, first of all, to create the sort, I'm going to make that select property here. Now we doesn't have the select, of course we need to import that. So similar property, I'm going to get that select value, which gonna be install our select dependency and everything required to run that initially. So okay, it's just done and should be ct select select from the UI select. And here should be select trigger. So I'm going to open the trigger here, and in the trigger should be select value. So in that value gonna be itself here, gonna be placeholder, which gonna say let's say gonna be saying sort by. So now if you come here, you can see right now I'm gonna make it side by side so you can have a view to read itself, because by default it's gonna be flex row. Right now, here is coming in flex column. You see, once we click, nothing happened because we doesn't have any other value. And of course, this one at the top layer here, it's gonna be, let's say, flex item gonna be center, and also gap should be 3. It will take that full width, all available width after that search products, and LG, which should be auto. By default, full width in LG should be auto. Now, and also for the value here, for the value, we're going to pass the value of the short by. This is going to be entire value statement here. And after that, also, we're going to have some on change property, on value change property value here. And here, I'm going to take the value, and the value should be sort option. And on that value, we're going to simply pass that set sort by, which is going to be passing that as the value. So this is how it's going to happen. Right now, you can see this is nothing here because we need to trigger up the value layer, because right now we're not putting anything. So now after the sort trigger, we need to have the sort content. Okay, so that should be select content. So select content, and on that content, now you can generate as an array, right? So I'm gonna just get all the select value here. Now this is, you can create as an array and you can pass it. So I'm gonna just simply pass that value here, which gonna be passing the entire structure, like name A to Z, name Z to A, price low to high. You see the value here, that's value gonna passing directly there, which can make much more of sense. So now if I just make a reload here just to see, you see name A to Z selected, name Z to A selected. Now by default gonna be, if we just go right here, you can see if we just click name A to Z, this is the parent sorting value which we are selected, right? Because we are already getting the primary value. So this is the selected values. Once you click, it automatically gonna change. Now we're gonna have some more setup, which gonna be create the mood toggle button. So after the sort here, where the sort is finished, we're gonna have to have another button, which is going to be providing that, let's say, mood grid setup. And of course, we're gonna generate within a button property here, and then gonna be a 3x icon here, so should be 3. Okay, fine, I think we're good to go. So this is the icon. If we click, that would be like the same thing gonna happen. If we click the list view, if we click, should be the height view, the same thing. I think right now it's working. Yeah, there's the 3 4 value. So in the smaller screen, which maybe is no need to require because we have only 2 or 3 product, so it's not showing anything. So this is just for the opening for the bigger screen, so that can be in a very highlighted manner. So this is the view mode toggle. After the view mode toggle here, also we're gonna have to have that, let's say it's gonna be filter toggle, which gonna be responsible to grab our filter, and that should be coming within the batch property, and that should be coming also within that side horizontal property here. Okay. So right now you click, the sidebar gonna open. If you click, it will close. So this is working for the other setup. You see how those things are receiving. Now you can modify, you can make it more responsive as the way you're looking forward to. Now this is particularly everything to go by. After that div itself, we can now make that whenever we're going to have that filters, we need to show the active filters value, right? So this is the where the design going to be marched on that. So if we have the filters, you can see right now we can have filter multiple setup, and there it's gonna show the filters and clear all buttons. So this is gonna be an active filter setup, and also the button layer, how to go and make things done. Of course, I'm gonna popping up for you. It's not that much difficult to create. First of all, let me see what actually is happening. Right now, you'll see nothing here because the data is not there. If we have the active filter count, which we are setting at the top, then it will show the active filters only whenever have the active filters count. Then it will show the active filters, and that if search query is there, going to be showing the search result. If the selected category is there, going to select the category here. As you can see on click, we can also toggle the category. If the selected brand is there, it's going to select the brand, and also we can just go and toggle to and close it. If we have the price range, we're going to show the price range, and we're going to have a button which is going to clear everything. So now if you just close the look on that, this is the setup which really important to build whenever you are having a very close structure, which is pretty cool and simple. So now this is the setup to create that. Now after this scenario here, after the div itself here, this is the time, let's say this is the filter, so we need to create some more diligent scenario. One should be coming with that filter sidebar, like the sidebar gonna happen on that, then it's gonna be coming on that another layer going to be there. Let's say it's gonna be products grid. So this is gonna be within the same property here, and that could be side by side in a flex view. So should be flex, and the gap should be 6. So these two setup which are going to happen, we need to create by itself. And the first filter sidebar, also it's just getting to be show filter status true, only that time it's gonna show. And of course, we're gonna make that element presence here, which gonna be a really cool setup. And we're gonna also show it whenever we're gonna have that, let's say show filters data, only then we're gonna render it. And here we're gonna simply pass that, let's say motion dot, we need to get the motion at the top, otherwise it's gonna be crying for error. So here after the animate presence, we're gonna be passing that motion. So right now after setting up that, we're gonna happen to have that, let's say motion dot div. So on the div, first now let me just put that, I'm gonna just put a div here. I'm gonna put an h3 tag, which gonna say as that filters, let's say filters data layer. And of course, gonna be happen to have a button. So button, and on that button, gonna have an X icon here. Let's just grab the X. And on that button, gonna be passing that, I'm gonna pass a variant, which gonna be, let's say it's gonna be happen to have a ghost variant. And then you're gonna have to have the size, gonna be a small size for this one. So after putting that small size layer, also we can pass the on, like if we save it here and if we click the filters, you see the filters button is right there. And also this button, we're gonna put a class name which should be, let's say 4, height should be less 4, and then there should be something running on. Also you make that on click event on the button. It should be making that whatever the filter status, so it will make that filter status as false. Okay, so that would be the false value once we click on that filters. Now if we click here, you can see it's false. If we click filters, if we click, it's getting false. Right now we will make it looks a little bit nice and clean. So this is the div class name flex, and should be, let's say after that item should be center, justify should be between, and after that I'm going to provide, let's say the MB should be 4. So this is the compartment of things to layer. I think the same thing is also showing here. You can see we can just remove the filter. Of course, we need to provide the width and height to make it more valuable things. Now for the div here, put a class name. The width should be 80. Now you can go through, define the width the way you feel it better. For me, this looks good. Background color we're gonna provide is at white color. I think there is some much more defined value. You can see there is a like once you click here, I think the background color of that page is really is it working? This one is not working. So if we go here, linear background from gray, let me see the 500. Okay, now it's getting, so 50 is getting very, very less. So I'm going to make it, let's say 200 just for right now to see the value property. All right, we can just simply go in 100. All right, better to get 200 to see the exact value in proper layer. So right now this is going to be either you can make, let's say you can make that for the weight should be, we will make that as a 72, or in MD should be 80. This up to you how we can create or how we want to show. So now if we click in filters, you can see this is the value here. I think that much is enough for it. Yeah, that much is enough. So this could be a very good layer, and this could be a very good notion as well. So now I'm going to make that rounded should be LG. I'm going to provide a border, and the border should be our border color, and also shadow should be SM, small shadow here. Padding should be 6, height should be, let's say I'm going to provide a fit height, and also it would be sticky, and top should be, from the top it would be 4. So this is going to be something like that. If we click, now you can like make things bigger on that. That's up to you. So now we have the show filter. Now the animation is not happening because we are not showing anything. Remember the way we did it before. So I'm going to just get the animation here. Initially I'm going to dropping it 1 and x minus 0. So right now if we click, you see how it's coming. The same thing is happening right here. If we click, it's coming from the horizontal left, which is going to be coming minus 50. Once animate, opacity getting 1, and then exit going to be minus 50 as well. So this is the good combination to create that layer. Now after that, as we have that show filters, like we have the filter pattern, now we need to show the data layer, right? So now we will create some of the collapsible data. So I'll just popping those things. This is you can read it, and it will make a good of sense to be understanding. Did we have the collapsible content? Let me just check. If we have, it's okay. If no, it doesn't have the collapsible. So we need to get entire collapsible data. So let me just open that, and pnpm, and instead of the select going to be coming as the collapsible. And after that, the collapsible trigger chevron down icon is there. So we can just open it. Checkbox icon is there. We can get it. I think not from the Radix UI checkbox. Oh, checkbox coming from the Radix UI. Really? I think we will also get the checkbox. Will not take that from Radix UI. ACK checkbox. So now we have that our collapsible. We can just import it from the UI collapsible, and also we can import the trigger here, collapsible trigger. And after that, we can also import the collapsible content here. Then the checkbox is already got it, so we can just get from the UI checkbox. And we're gonna have to get the separator again. It doesn't have that, so I'm gonna get it from there, separator. Okay, you see, this is the entire structure. Now once you like get the git just update the version part 2, it will get entire UI is down here. I didn't make predefined, as we are creating, and then we can just passing that. This is a very good way to do that. So this is the collapsible value here. We have to have the slider, which again we doesn't have, so we can just simply use that slider, which is going to create the slider. And after that, I think that much it. So we're going to just grab the slider. Okay, so now if we filter on that, we have the categories, we have the brands, we have the price range. Now how those things is happening, that's we need to understand first of all. So right now we have a like entire value setup. So right now we're going to go with the top layer of the collapsible here from where we started. So let me grab it here. So you see the categories right here. No, not the categories, but this is the filter section. Okay, so this is the show filter data. Then after that, first one is the categories, and this is combining everything with the collapsible, which gonna giving a such a good accordion preview here. Now open is gonna be filter open, and categories then it will be open. So particularly this one and that one is getting separate, like the separate entity value here, and even you can see you can hide the price range. So right now, what is happening? We're gonna just getting the in the collapsible trigger. We have the categories and the chevron down icon. You can see the icon is changing. You know, whenever the collapsible is there, down to up is changing here. You can see right here because we are getting that rotating 180. Then in that collapsible content, we are mapping through our like our category here. Once the category is selected, we are just providing the value is as a selected category. Now you can see right here. So this is going to be working. You can see the value here. You can clear from there right now. And also once you have the multiple filter property here, you can see the button is right there to show, and you can click. You can now you can now make the formation to create a click one by one, which you can do it. That's I'm going to keeping it for you, and you can also click it by all, like clear it all. This is the category. Then we are showcasing the similar way the brand as well. Then we are showing the pricing range as well. As you can see, we are setting the pricing value accordingly. So now we have those things. Now we got that. Now we need to get the product grid value, right? So in the product grid, it would be a very similar and very straightforward setup. We have a two way to go, right? So in the products grid, we're gonna have to have another div here. So here, there's one should be coming for the results summary. Okay, so that would give us the results summary. Put a div, and there is a p tag here should be showing, and here we're gonna pass that filter products. So if there is the filter products dot length is there, and sorry, the length we're gonna provide, and we're gonna provide that our product length. So should be products length. You can see showing 43 to 43 products. If we have that, you see 0 to 43 products because we doesn't have it. 10 to 43 products. So this depends if we have the products or not. So right now, what I'm gonna do, that an entire setup gonna be taking the flex one property to grab entire products, and also that div here. Okay, gonna have some class name. A flex item should be center, justify should be between. I think right now it's nothing there, but I'm going to keep it. If you want to keep any other parameter or bar, you can do it as well. Put a class name, text should be gray of 600. Okay, gray of 600. Now do you have the back? No, the background is just as it is. So right now we have our primary result summary. After the result summary, we will show our products, right? Products list. Okay, so for the product list, we're gonna have to have a loading. If there is loading, you're gonna show something. If there is no loading, we'll show something. Now, if there is a loading, we're gonna show simply like a skeleton property here, the way we show it before. And if we doesn't have the loading, we're gonna also make that, let's say, filter products dot length. Filter products dot, let me see, length. If it's bigger than 0, then we're gonna show something, otherwise we're gonna show something. So let me just grab it nothing, and let me just pass it. If we have the product, we're gonna have that, let's say, div, and I'm gonna simply pass that products. That's it. So right now we have to filter, and as you can see, I'm gonna just remove the ice. You can see there is showing nothing, means we doesn't have any product. So to make that things, we can simply grab it. Instead of passing that nothing, we can simply create a no products. I think we doesn't have that, so should be a no products available capacity here. So I'm gonna just go here. Let me just pass that component here, which gonna be passing that. I think the motion should not be coming from framer. Motion should be coming from motion react. So motion react. Okay, so now this tab is maintaining a proper classic results. How you can show it, you can see the packages data layer, search, products found. If not for no products found, kind of like if you just check it here, kind of like it's doing. Let me just grab it, vegetables. Okay, this vegetables is right here. So if we take the frozen, okay, frozen items also there. Which item is not here? Let me get the dry food. Okay, everything is showing here. I'm gonna get a let's cook item. Okay, this item also here. Which item is not there? Fast food. dry food. Okay, I will go with that. Let's say price range. Okay. Okay, price range is there and frozen. Okay, you see. So no products found. We couldn't find any products. This category might be temporarily out of stock. What would you like to do? You can see it depends on the category. Now you can also remove, and this status queue is going to be coming. That you can see that's the same way. You can also get to the selected tab. We can get with the variant title and class name. And now we are providing the icon, which is going to be package icon, and the search result, which is not getting. Then we are providing the title, no products found. We couldn't find any products. If the variant title is there, we are passing that the title category variant. Otherwise, this category might be temporarily out of stock. Suggestions is showcasing here, which going to be linked through the shop page here. Also browse all products and going through also the view all category section and try exploring our other products too. So right now, as we can just simply no not found, let's say what that should be no found, no product available. So I'm going to just simply get that no product available. That's it. So now if we just come back here, if we click on the frozen, you can see right now, if we click icon codes, no products found, looks good, looks really good. So now whenever we're going to have the products, so I'm going to just clear the category setup. Once we have the product, what we want to do, that's the main factor, right? Now, if we have the product, so after the loading, if we have the products right here, we need to showcase the product. But how are we going to show that? So over here, I'm going to just go make that one animate presence. And on that animate presence, we're going to make that, let's say, filter products dot map. And by default, we're going to take everything as a product data layer. And from there, we can simply pass that, let's say, it's going to be a motion div. So it not animate presence, gonna be a motion div. So motion dot div, and on the div we're gonna simply pass that our product card from product. And on the product card, what we want to show is that we're gonna pass the product, which is gonna be passing our product. And as it's just a key value is there, we need to pass the product underscore ID. That's it. Okay, what is the problem here? Okay, there is one key mistake has happened to have that. You can see right now we are showcasing the product, which is good, but it's not coming up with proper value layer. So right now we can simply pass a view mode property, right? So we're gonna put a class name, and that class name gonna be coming through with a backtick property value here. What I'm going to make it first going to be coming as a grid, and gap should be 6. So that is the grid view, right? But right now, as we have the grid view, but we didn't show is how many grid going to show and how it's going to show, right? So we're going to go and make some a counter manipulation. You can either, instead of using that, you can simply use the CN as well. So you can make that grid gap 6. So it's going to work. Now we can simply make that if we have that view mode, right? So if view mode is equal to, let's say it's gonna be a grid view, then it's gonna be something, otherwise it's gonna be something. So right now, if we have that view mode, so okay, let me grab it. Okay, I think instead of doing so, I can go with the previous setup. So it would be more convenient instead of the CN. So we have more customization mode on that. So now what we are doing, if we have that class name, like if there is the grid view, first of all, grid gap 1. If the view mode is grid, what we are doing, grid calls 1, SM grid calls 3, 2, LG grid calls 3, XL grid calls as 4. If the grid mode is not grid, like grid calls 1, SM grid calls 2, LG grid calls 3. So right now, if we just pass that, it's gonna 3 product, it's gonna show 4 products. So this is how it's gonna actually working. Right now, there is no animation happening because we didn't pass the animation. So as we pass the key as the product ID, we're going to also pass it as a layout value here, which is good. So layout value going to be providing a layout animation structure the way it's going to be contradict. So right now we will provide that our, let's say, initial value transition. We're going to have the initial animate, exit, and transition. So the initial gonna be, let's say it's gonna be opacity 0 is called scale 0.9, animate gonna be opacity 1 is scale 1, and exit gonna be same way, and duration 2 milliseconds. So right now you can see if we just reload, I think you see there is a slight changes. Even you come back here, that should be coming by once we are preparing to make these things happen. So right now, as you can see, we are almost done in pretty good way to show all the setup layer or the data layer in a proper, decent manner. I think you now understand what kind of criteria, what kind of previous setup we are building in this application layer, right? This is pretty good build. This is pretty good build, because right now we can go in any product. We can now create the product. So right now, once I want to work with that our header, especially for our, let's say, for the client header setup, because I want to make sure that our this one, especially if you go here, you can see there is a menu bar here. Right now the menu bar is not open to have, so we need to create that menu setup, the menu bar parameter and others. And to do that, we need to make that, let's say, it would be a lot of parameter gonna working together, which we will let it be. So first of all, this mobile menu here, the header menu is which is showcasing the header menu. So if there is user, we're gonna have to have the user. You see the user drop down. So this is the button. This is the drop down. Yeah. So that's the value here, which gonna be maintaining each and every single compartment, which you already know how we created before. So if we just make it smaller, I think it will disappear. Okay, I'm gonna keep it like that. So now over here, this is just a simple, which we are showcasing the photo URL and others. Right now, after that refresh data and others, there should be a lot of things like the admin checking if the admin is there or not. We need to check according to the UUID if the user is use admin or not, which gonna be coming with the admin utils. And after that, there will be a lot of other parameter. I'm gonna just popping up so that you can have the code itself. So there will be an use effect property value here, which gonna be combining to show if the status. So because there would be multiple status property. Okay, should be the backend client. Where is that? Okay, status. Okay, the status route, API users status route. So should be Sanity leave backend client. So Sanity, I think leave. I'm gonna make it that one is Sanity leave. Okay, let us go Sanity leave client. So there is no backend client. There is the right client is there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go in our route here. Did we have the route? Did we create that route to make that things happen? So in the source on the app, I think we're gonna have that API, and it should be going to directly on that. I think the API. API user status, API user, there should be an status view, status route. And instead of that, let's say backend client, we should be happen to have one right client, which going to be doing the same thing. Right client, that's it. So now I think the error should be disappear here. Okay, there should be some more where we're using that. So right client, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it's good. So we have the right client setup. And of course, there is some more. Okay, that should be also right client. Yeah, good. Now we are happen to have no problem here. Okay, good. So right now we can, this one can talk to our admin property here to check if user admin, if the use is admin, like use is admin or not, the user is admin or not. This is the same thing. So if the admin is there, showing the admin panel, if vendor is there, showing the vendor management, if the dashboard, like all the setup gonna be depend according to it. And this is pretty good, pretty bigger, and but it's a very self sophisticated. So this is gonna be showcasing that either okay, so let me go and check what till where we are. So instead of this react use effect, we can simply using directly the effect here. So the okay, we cannot use that because we're working in the utils. Okay, so now this is the use effect which handling to check our user. Let me see if the user is check user status. If there is no status, it's going to be returning from here. And if there is user, is going to go to call that API checking the user status. Either the user is active or not, and the user is coming from employee API or not, and then providing the proper user data structure, like what kind of user we are calling. And also we have the employee status, which gonna happen to have to make sure to finding the data according to it. So we need to get that is employee or not. Did we have the setup to combine on that? Let's say set employees. Okay, employees. Okay, this is right there. You just need to ignore that error, which we already happen to get several times. So this is gonna be calling that use effect function to check the status. And also it would be checking that refresh data when the drop down is open. So this is gonna be how it's gonna check, handle open change, and it's gonna be set open, gonna be is new open. And if new open and user is there, refresh the user data according to the user ID, and it's gonna go and check that user status to go to the formula if either is vendor or not, because whenever the vendor is there, we need to showcase the vendor management layer as well. So this is gonna be checking by itself. And after that, also it's gonna have couple of things which I'm gonna bring back right here. So after that, it's gonna be passing that after the banner property here, it's gonna happen to have that handle mouse hover event. Once we hover, you see how those things is just coming over, the same thing gonna be amplified. So if handle mouse hover, if leave timeout, that current is just providing that, giving a proper timeout mechanism. Then also mouse leave getting a 300 millisecond to get to affect the property. And in the use effect, you're gonna also happen to have the reference value here when the clean timeouts on unbound. And if there is no user, it's gonna be just passing null. It will not show, of course, but it will not call. But even if it's there, will not show, return null. I'm having to have the sign in button and handle link click, and there would be a link property here. If that link click, it's gonna be passing, because this one, as you can see, is support and it's just getting by. So this kind of setting layer we can just passing. So right now, as you can see, what the value right now here for the link, like managing the data layer or structure, this is the previous value property. Now we need to do a lot of other setup to make it work properly, right? So what I'm gonna do, let me just, comment it. So right now we have nothing. Okay, so how I'm going to start, I'm going to start like a pop over button. So that should be, let's say I'm going to create a div here, then it's going to be becoming a pop over. So I think pop over is not there, so I'm going to make that pnpm, which going to be make that, let's say, pop over. So now once we have the pop over, that's the combination here. This is going to be coming on pop, either we click or we hover. So this is the two way it's gonna action gonna be taken. So prop over. So in that prop over, you're gonna pass the prop over, and then also you're gonna pass that prop over trigger. So pop over trigger. And after that, we're gonna simply pass the button. We're gonna pass a div here. We're gonna pass that if user.photo URL. Then we can simply pass our image property here. So that's gonna be if we have that. Otherwise, we're gonna passing that another div. Now you can see this setup of data. You can either use that particularly to make things like you can either create it using the next image, or you can also simply use that our normal image property. You can see you can simply use that property. Right now you can see we have that image, but if we click, nothing gonna happen. As you can see, there is still so many errors there. Now even you can use that, or you can simply use that our next image property. But if you use next image, feel free to provide the width and height. So let's say width gonna be coming as 10 and height gonna be coming as 10. That would be a good notion. You can see right here, that's will showcase the data. So both way you can use. If there is no user image, it's gonna provide the circle there. Now for that div itself here, I'm going to provide I'm going to make that div which going to be contained on mouse, let's say on mouse enter. So once the mouse is enter, it's going to just make that handle mouse enter function. And also on mouse leave, it's going to passing that handle mouse leave. So the handle mouse enter and handle mouse leave both taking two setup. If enter, showing that. If leaving, removing that. So same thing, once you enter, you're gonna show, once you remove, it will not show. So this is what it's gonna do. And also for the pop over button, open gonna be open, and on open change, handle open change, this function gonna run. Feel free to go and check the function. And for the trigger, it should be working as a child, so that's good to go. So now after that, showing the image property, there should be some more other properties. So I'm gonna just grab that. So there should be a passing by property here. You can see there is a very good icon here after showing that user circle and others. So that should be coming after that. It's gonna get an absolute value property, just showcase right here. I think we are not seeing right now. Okay, maybe absolute bottom 0, right 0. Okay, we didn't make it as relative. Do not show with a class name. I'm gonna make it as relative. Yeah, cool. You can see right now that dot is right here. Now this is the button. And after that layer itself, it's gonna be coming the other details before finishing the button. So that details gonna be passing the display username, which gonna be split mark. You see right now, this looks not good because the data is not maximized itself. As you can see, this is the button here. We didn't do anything or any customization in the button. So I'm gonna drop the class name for it. Now for the button, you're gonna make the flex item center gap 2.5, padding y2, border go from green to 20%, hover border go from green, hover effect. And whenever we are passing that hover effect, we are not needing to show those things. Okay, that's it. Now you can see, okay, looks cool, but we are not happen, still didn't provide that pop over content. That's why it's not showing that. So right now, after the pop over trigger, when the trigger is done, now it's time to start with the content. So it should be coming with that pop over, let's say over content. And in the content, we're gonna first provide that header section with linear background. So you're gonna have a div. So on the div, first it's gonna be injected the header in proper way. So we're gonna just simply grab it, okay? So on that particular known property here, there should be a header value on that. So I'm gonna pop in that. So this combining a very good layer, you can see this is the layer which we are talking about. So this is the layer which we are happen to have here. So you're talking this one, right? But it's not looks, this likes the great how it's not looks, but we're gonna make it looks better. First of all, I want to get that image which looks much better for me. And here the side, I can just get the weight of, let's say, I'm gonna make it as, let's say estimate 20, height of 20, that's it. So now if we hover, you can see, okay, good. So now over here in that particular property, we are making that if photo URL is there, providing the photo, and this is the background color, which is showing an inside value. And if there is no image, circle and the display name and email. Right now, what we're gonna do in the pop over content, we're gonna manually put some class name, and the width should be, let's say, I'm gonna provide a width of 8, and of course, I'm gonna make a padding of 0, and let's say should be shadow would be Excel shadow, and then also the border should be go from green, go from, let's say, go from green, not gray, green with a 20% opacity. And then, okay, that is the setup. And the alignment should be inside, so means at the right, and side offset should be, I'm going to provide an 8 of side offset. And you can hover on that to see what kind of things property value and setup is going on. As you can see, looks perfect, looks the similar the one which we have. Okay, good. That's really cool and good. And you can customize a lot of things right here. So right now, if we just pass the header section, now we can pull up the other property which we have previously. I'm going to just pop in those things. Now you can go by one to understand much more valuable things here, however you want to like. So I'm going to get that next link from there. I'm going to get that store icon from there. And then because right now today's like this is the time to like rebusting your build. Now you can go through the entire code structure, and whenever you're going to start coding, you feel you can understand much of the coding structure right here. So right now also there would be the logs. Okay, cool. There would be the heart, which is cool too. And I think there would be the package icon, and then you can just make an array of the icon here. I didn't make an array, but you can make an array of icon item for showing the all the property for the user data layer and others. Right now I'm going to show you what we are happen to have. If we click, you see we have profile, orders, wish list, dashboard, and this is an admin. So if we click, it will go directly to the admin. We need to create the page. Now how we decipher that, I'm going to make it bigger. So now this is first we're checking the wallet balance. If user have the, this is the content, right? After header, after the top of the header, the content is showing right now. So we're passing that balance. If wallet balance is there, then we are showing that wallet balance, the balance property, whatever the balance is there. Then the navigation links. Now this is design gonna be kind of similar. All the navigation tab, you see hover effect. That's what I'm saying. You can either make it as an array and pass it. The first link, user profile, gonna be user, which will take to my profile. The orders, which will take to my orders data layer. And also if we have the orders, it's gonna show the orders count. You see, there is a little bit of icon running. If it will just loading real time, if my order is changed or whatever the order counts I am having right now in real time. Then if we have the wish list, showing the wish list, if we have the dashboard, showing the dashboard data, settings data, and the vendor ampli status, vendor dashboard, and ampli routing through the ampli dashboard, and the admin panel and others, vendor management and others. So this is quite a very helpful setup. And help link, you see right here, putting on the link and handle click, it will directly go through the help page to go through particularly and help and support. So this is how the combination can be happen. Now there would be another button here which is not combining on that set. So let's say I'm going to go by and here, so this is the div which combining all the navigation link. So let me go through, this is the div here. After that div itself, we're going to go to grab like the grip on the sign out section. So this would be the sign out section, and on that section I'm going to take a div here, I'm going to take a button here, and then I'm going to make that a button. Another div here should be coming, let's say would be a logout button, logout, and the logout button here. After that you're going to be passing, let's say it's going to be passing the text which is going to be a span tag, not like that, should be a span, it will say sign out, that's it. So this would be at the bottom layer. So as you can see, this would be at the bottom. So right now this function gonna handle entire sign out compartment, that's it, nothing fancy. It just gonna handle entire sign out mechanism and gonna call the sign out function, right? So if we go right here and if we click sign out, it's going to be sign out. Now here you can see once it's sign out, we have no other button, especially if we sign out right here, we have button for sign in, sign out, but we doesn't have it. So let me go, we have the sign in button, so we need to get the sign in and sign out button. So how we can create that? So right now we're gonna create two setup of button which gonna redirect to that particular page. So instead of that one, we can simply grab that button here, which gonna, it's just a link button, you see, just a link. You're gonna just get the sign in URL here and also the get sign up URL. Right now we doesn't have those function which we need to create. One is the get sign in URL, another is the get sign up URL. So let me go back at the top of the client URL. Here we're gonna simply pass the two values. So this two layer get sign in. So if mounted undefined, it return to the sign in. Otherwise, you know, if it will redirect to that, so it doesn't means whatever page we are, it can encounter to grab it. Then also it can encounter get it to that get sign up URL. So like right now, if I am in the, let's say I'm in especially in the single product page, sorry, like that. If I am here in the single product page, and you can see if I go in sign in, it's not the property need to be captured here. I think if I'm here, it's captured, you see, that's the capture here. So that's how it's gonna be toggled. So after logged in, it will redirect to me that particular page. How it's gonna happen, I'm gonna say I'm in the single page, I click to logged in, I go through the Google authentication and I try to making logged in. So I will make it right now, I make login. The concept is that after logged in, it's gonna redirect the pages it had came. You can see right now it's just coming there. If I from the home, it will tell me back to the home. So this is the combination to make the parameter to start up with that to go by to make things done in different way. So I think you can catch a very good understanding on that build right now. Till now, this entire code is possibly in the part 2. You will be able to have it, and feel free to leave anything in the comments, whatever you are requiring. And of course, other parts gonna be coming day by day, all the things gonna be for you here. So I think now you can try to update your code and to get things done very quickly.